up on your bankruptcy?
Now, maybe you didn't see this in the news. Maybe you're not up on them. Alex
I am. I'm up on your bankruptcy too,
Alex
sir.
Halderman.
Welcome to Street Politics. My name is Reese Waters. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the page. Now, black people have a saying, damn, we can't have nothing. It really speaks to how so many of our spaces are eventually infiltrated and ultimately diluted by the presence of interlopers. Fortunately, that didn't happen with the DNC convention, but they tried it. MAGA, you really thought you were going to come to Chicago and not get dragged off the field like the Bears every year? There was Charlie Kirk of Turning Point USA, perhaps best known for denouncing the civil rights movement.
And the Civil Rights Act, though, let's be clear, created a beast, and that beast has now turned into an anti-white weapon.
Yeah, and that's the reality. And so we just need to fundamentally relook at a lot of our civil rights legal regime. And without that, even though I don't think it's sort of the magic bullet, but I think without that, there's limits to the amount of progress we're going to make.
Let's talk about discourse and dialogue. This topic would have been even more forbidden 4 or 5 years ago, but it's now becoming in more and more mainstream circles.
As well as his thoughtful reflections on the airline industry.
And that's why I think this United story and the DEI story hits so hard, because we've all been in the back of a plane when the turbulence hits, or when you're flying through a storm and you're like, I'm so glad I saw the guy with the right stuff and the square jaw get into the cockpit before we took off. And I feel better now thinking about that.
No, I mean, like, you want to go thought crime? Like, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
And if you're wondering, this whole airline debate happened because a door flew off of a plane. Yeah, no black pilot. No. A door flew off of a plane, and they used that to start a national far-right debate about the qualifications of black pilots, going so far as to try and denounce HBCU programs and to tie every black pilot to said HBCU SAT averages. Yes, it was that sad. Now, first where you got me messed up is correlating SAT scores and IQ, and boy, do I have a surprise for you. You know who I want you to tell that SAT scores are tightly correlated with IQ? Tell the Princeton Review. Just go ahead and ask the Princeton Review how they feel about that. I want you to tell Kaplan that they are no longer needed. SAT scores are correlated with IQ and therefore are set and fixed. I want you to tell the College Board that I want all my Saturdays back between my sophomore and junior year of high school. You wasted my time because it was simply a measure of my IQ. Then I want you to call the SAT people and tell them that 240-point gap between the first time I took the SATs and the second time I took the SATs was a lie. One of those was a lie. I don't know which one of those was a lie. Hopefully the first one was a lie. And yeah, I'm talking to you, Elon Musk. Tesla, where Musk serves as CEO, is currently facing a lawsuit from the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission over allegations of racial abuse against black employees, including racial slurs and the discovery of nooses in the workplace. Furthermore, Tesla has been accused of not addressing complaints of racial abuse and even retaliating against employees who spoke out. So this is all starting to make a little bit of sense now, because if you get rid of the diversity, then you don't have any complaints from the Equal Opportunity Commission. So if you can't stamp out the racism, stamp out the race. Well, naturally, he thought he would feel at home at the DNC.
Hello, everybody. I am here at the DNC, and they were nice enough to let me in. I got to give them credit for that. And we're here to learn. Well, I don't really have much to learn here, but I already gotten heckled once. And we're here to belly the beast in Chicago.
It went poorly.
Because we have a Republican governor and a Republican Secretary of State in the state of Georgia.
What's your name?
You said Parker?
My name's Parker. We have a Republican governor and a Republican secretary of state in Georgia that approved our elections, and Donald Trump said that wasn't constitutional.
All right, relax.
Donald Trump tried to undermine our Constitution.
You're at 10. I just walked in. I'm here to just learn.
Hey, you're an anti-patriotic, anti-constitutional person crashing our party
So let me
because
ask you one
tried
question.
to stop our democracy.
I got one question.
Donald Trump called the
Can I ask you
secretary
one
of state of
question?
Georgia and told him to find him some votes.
What is a woman?
Oh my God. That is so fucking weird, y'all. Maybe you should meet one.
Bro, did you just get yeeted by the not like us kid? The one who was dancing in the background? I'm pretty sure that just happened.
Well, you know what? That's what the Democratic Party is. We're a big tent, and we're here to let people in and lift people up. I got involved in Democratic politics because I lost my dad as a little kid. I saw the impact that Democratic politics can have for people. I was on Social Security. His labor union, helped save my family from hundreds of thousands of dollars in medical debt. Brian Kemp refuses to expand Medicaid in Georgia, and when he changed Medicaid standards, I lost my health care. So this is very real for me, and everybody in that room, everybody in this movement knows that we're in it together. And we're in it together to win because there's so much at stake, no matter what music you like or what dance moves we all want our kids to have a better future.
This not going to look good for the channel, Charlie. I'm just saying, this is not going to look good, especially after what happened to your water boy, Jack Posobiec, a.k.a. one of the other guys in that airline clip.
You are obviously trying to do some undercover shit.
I'm live.
You were clearly trying to upstate who you are. That's what we just said. You said no one
You
live.
have your ID.
I mean, I'll tell you.
She's not wearing a mask. I thought you don't wear masks.
Face, man.
You came up to me.
Take your mask off.
You came up to me. You literally came up to me.
Right, because you're Jack Posobiec.
Yeah.
You're trying to trick people into thinking that you're not.
Go ask anyone I've talked to if I lied about who I was.
Do they know who you are? Do they know about your Comet Ping Pong? Like when you almost cried like a bitch at Comet Ping Pong?
I understand you've had a lot of abortions. It's gone to your head because you, of course,
Are you in
are
fourth
late for
grade?
your abortion.
Are you in fourth grade? What is this?
Problem with
This
that
is a middle school
because of
bully
the
right
lack-
here.
the lack
Get
of
some better
abortion.
insults.
You are here.
Sure.
It's driving you so upset.
Are you?
Speaking
I know.
Upset. You're like, I need an abortion right now, and I can't find one. Were you able
This
to
is
get
weird.
it?
This is weird. MAGA is weird.
How many abortions have you had? How many abortions have you had? How many abortions have you had today?
Now, when you first messed up was your first question when you asked, how many abortions have you had? Because if you wanted to try and make fun of her or try and lampoon her, you telegraphed your play. And that's what gave her the time to spin the block and peel your cap.
How many abortions have you had? How many abortions have you had? How many abortions have you had today?
DNC. I'm getting paid by George Soros to have an abortion on the stage with no drugs.
Which way you going? Which way you going?
What do you mean, which way?
Which type of abortion?
What kind of abortions are there, Jack?
There's pills, there's tools, there's a number of ways.
So it's going to be on stage. So a normal person would think that they would use tools, right? And vacuum it out and do all of that. Like if I took a pill that takes several days and nothing happens, you won't see anything. So you should probably study how female anatomy works.
Bro, this is bad. You got to get out of there, Jack. Charlie, put your hands down and deny you were ever there. And whatever you do, don't you stop in the hallway.
I have a question.
Okay, what's your question?
Why did you say that the civil rights bill should be overturned?
I didn't say that. I said it was a mistake.
Why? That's crazy.
Now you gotta figure it out.
I wouldn't be here. That's trouble.
Who's that?
Oh, Noah got him. Noah got him. Hey, he was patrolling those hallways like Mike Singletary in his prime, like Otis from Martin. By the way, Noah was everywhere, and he did some incredible work. Shout out to that brother. I mean, y'all did see what he did to Mike Lindell, right? Mike Lindell, what's going on here? Yeah, what's going on here? I'm trying to figure out. Do you think that people weren't gonna recognize you? Huh? Did you think that people weren't gonna recognize you and then you immediately start interfacing with people as Mike Lindell? Like, what are you doing, dog? That'd be like escaping from jail, changing clothes, starting a new life, getting an apartment and a job, and as soon as you walk in and get your driver's license, they say, "Can we have your name?" Yes, it is inmate 54321. Would you just listen to what this man is saying? Oh yeah, she's a friend of mine. Oh yeah, I'm sure. That's kind of like when they say on Fox News, "I just heard the other day." Bankruptcy?
Now, maybe you didn't see this in the news. Maybe you're not up on them. Alex
Oh, I
Holden.
am. I'm up on your bankruptcy too,
Alex
sir.
Holden.
Yo, this kid's wild.
With a ballpoint pen.
Your source is trust me, bro. Exactly. These kids are all right. I feel like so your source is trust me, bro could really apply to most of right-wing media. I want to hear Kamala drop that in the debate. Yeah, no, we don't have to wait a whole hour, 2 hours after it ends for the fact check. Just whatever come out of Trump's mouth. Oh, so your source is trust me, bro? And what kind of people where they're not wanted segment would this be without Byron Donalds? He's a where you're not wanted all-star.
But hold on, Wesley. Hold on, Wesley. My brother. Hold on. Calm down, though. My man, chill. Can I answer the question? Go ahead. This is important. It's okay. Whoa. Both of y'all are talking. I'm trying to hear both of y'all. I'm trying to hear both of you. You want me to answer or you want to answer? You want to answer my question? Do you want to answer the question or you want me to answer the question? But it's not different, brother. It's the truth. Do you want to, because let's talk, hold on. Do you want to talk about it or do you want to yell about it?
So you know he wouldn't miss this.
I'm here at the DNC. Is this Mr. Fascist Byron Donalds? In the flesh? What the?
You could tell Byron Donalds has been roasted many times in the past. He knew he was like, don't even, just keep it moving. Just keep walking. Don't break stride. Don't break stride. And put your head down so they don't roast your hairline.
I'm here at the DNC. Is this Mr. Fascist Byron Donalds? In the flesh? What the?
By the way, there was also an appearance from Vivek Ramaswamy.
So here's my perspective. I was asked about this when I came to the south side of Chicago a year ago, and my position on this has not changed. I'm against race-based reparations because I think it will create more division, not less.
What about race-based discrimination that occurred in this country?
Yeah, so let me just clarify one aspect. I think there was a time and place for it in the Reconstruction era. But today, when we actually bring back racial reparations, it actually causes greater discrimination, not more. I think we're seeing a rise in anti-black and I think other forms of racism in the country. But part of the reason I think we're seeing it is there's no better way to foster racial animus than to take something away from someone based on their skin color.
So no
Have we
more
done
black
that in this
people
country?
justice because it'll make other people upset.
Well, because it's going to create more division and be self-defeating. I think it's actually going to set black Americans back because it will cause,
but black Americans continue to live in that sense.
Oh, I'm gonna have to do a whole nother video about that. Racist of the Week coming soon. But the real MVP was Noah. So I want to close with him. And just another reminder, this brother is 12.
I'm dumbfounded of how a grown man, well, I don't know if he's a grown man, but a grown man like Mike Lindell approaching in that way. I had a simple question of why he's questioning a completely legitimate election. He had no proof. He said there was an elected official that found voter fraud, and I said, okay, what's her name? He said the first name, but refused to give me a last name, when the last name of a public official, an elected official at that, should be out there if they want to get reelected even. So I'm confused as to why he had such a hard time figuring that out.
Right, look, let's put that to one side. You've become a bit of an online star, certainly for a 12-year-old. What made you get involved in all this for the Democrats?
Yeah, the Democratic Party has the best policy platform we have seen. It's the oldest party also. And I'll also just say that the policy platform, not only we get a 2-in-1 deal this election, we get to defeat Donald Trump, and we get a good policymaker in the White House, so that's why I'm in it.
Right, so how important do you think, we've just seen a report on social media influencers there and what's happening. How important do you think social media will be in this election?
Yeah, I think it'll be very important. Let's start off with kids and 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds don't typically read old school news. They go to TikTok for their information. They go to Twitter for their information. They're kind of tired of old school media, no offense. But I think it'll be highly critical to not only combat misinformation, but to provide new information as well.
Right, who's winning, in your view, the battle on the For You pages on TikTok, for
Yeah,
instance?
the FYP, Kamala Harris.
Aren't you surprised I knew about that?
I am. I say Kamala Harris is winning the FYP battle. By far, we've seen so many great influencers, musical artists, and actors endorse Kamala, and Trump has Kid Rock. So, who and Hulk Hogan. So, who really cares about those two when you have stars that young people actually care about up front supporting Kamala full-throated?
Yeah, so when we've got this big speech tonight, for instance, right? Kamala Harris here tonight.
Right.
Do you think that's less important now, and it's more important what you guys are doing on TikTok and on other social media platforms? Is the big speech losing its impact, you think?
Yeah, no, I think it's funny enough, the big speech will be displayed on social media, so we need the big speech to use kind of like as a template to show that social media is important, and this speech, the big speech tonight, will help display that.
But it's moments you're after. I mean, it's tiny moments from a much broader speech, isn't it? So it's possible that people are not getting the full context.
So if Kamala uses a word, for example, if Kamala says like a word that Gen Z uses frequently, then that'll get on your For You page, and the young people will eat it up.
Yeah. I am eating it up, sir. These kids are all right. You know what? Between the performance we saw on stage and the performances we saw in the hallway, the future is bright. Sincere thanks to everybody who's reached out to me and submitted suggestions for videos. Keep them coming. I take submissions for ideas for a video, suggestions for Racist of the Week. If you have something that just troubles you, or you just want to send me a note, because I love getting those notes, go ahead and shoot me an email at reese@reesewaters.com. I also have a newsletter that I send out periodically, so you'll be receiving that as well. You can also sign up on my website, reesewaters.com.
He can go and cower in a corner, or he can show up and be lit on fire.
It doesn't look like she has the confidence within herself or the ability to take charge and lead this campaign. If she can't do that, how's she going to lead the United States of America?
It is showtime. Welcome to Street Politics. My name is Reese Waters. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the page. Well, of course I had to go with magic. It is showtime. Introducing in the red corner. He hails from Jamaica. No, that was a fake Jamaican accent. Okay, Jamaica, Queens? You're not even from Jamaica, Queens? Okay, from parts unknown, Congressman Byron Donalds. And in the blue corner, known for B6 and now V6, she is the original Houston Rocket on Capitol Hill, Jasmine Crockett. Our first question, will Donald Trump even show up?
No, but if he does show up, he is about to get his butt handed to him. So I'm here for it either way. He can go and cower in a corner, or he can show up and be lit on fire. Either way, I'm good.
Mr. Donalds.
Kamala Harris has hidden from the press because she cannot actually go toe-to-toe with reporters and the American people to question and go through her record. It is a radical record. It is a bad record for the American people. I think you're seeing the beginning of the end.
Mr. Donalds, I'm going to have to take off some points. You asserted that Kamala Harris was hiding from the press, when in fact the press is actually trying to hide Donald Trump. Fox News has actively decided not to take some of his rambling, incoherent press conferences. So dock some points for you right there.
And VP Harris has been criticized for leaving some gaps on policy detail, but do you get the sense she is saving those details for the September 10th debate?
Well, I know one detail and one response she is absolutely saving for the September 10th debate.
He suggested that you happened to turn black recently for political purposes, questioning a core part of your identity.
Yeah. Any same old tired playbook. Next question, please.
That's it?
That's it.
I was just playing. That was well played, though, Kamala. That was very well played. See, she's saving that smoke for the debate. I see you. I see you. One thing I've learned. Don't think because I didn't drag you now means I won't drag you later.
Yeah, the debate where we don't know if he's going to show or not. Yes. Listen, I think that is something that the American people want to see. They want to see them side by side. You know, when you do the sit down interview, it's a very one-sided thing. We know that Trump will only go on Fox News. I encourage MSNBC to reach out to the Trump team and ask him if he will do a sit-down. We know that the vice president chose to do CNN, which a lot of people are like, how and why CNN? I have my thoughts, but I won't share them at this moment.
Oh, no. Please do share, Ms. Crockett. I would love to know. Let's get messy. Let's get messy.
Judge, what we are witnessing is what happens when you have a machine candidate, somebody that is picked by the Democratic machine. Every aspect of that machine wants to have their hands in this campaign. And to Miranda's point, it doesn't look like she has the confidence within herself or the ability to take charge and lead this campaign. If she can't do that, how's she going to lead the United States of America? Contrast that with Donald J. Trump. Judge, I can assure you, he's in charge of that campaign. Everybody has their job, but the buck stops with him. He makes the decisions, and they move forward.
Bonus points for Mr. Donalds. Absolutely. Not only is he in charge of the campaign, he's actually in charge of the entire party, because if it weren't for him installing Laura Trump as head of the RNC, we might have never gotten this.
Without your bravery, we're all out of luck. No, this can't be denied. You gotta be special.
Little known fact, that actually wasn't even the most embarrassing Trump family gaffe of the week. Kim Guilfoyle?
Let's taste it again on November 5th. Who's with me? All right. Good evening. America needs who? Say his name. Donald Trump. More than ever. We're out of the White House. Are you with me? To get this country back on track. Has witnessed in the world his resilience. And we lift the American worker. We will go to bed at night that feels unrecognizable. I'm here to tell you, don't lose hope. Americans from all walks of life have had enough of the Democrats' decline, and we are ready. We are willing, and we are able to spark a new era of American exceptionalism. You can clap for that.
But I will say that seeing the contrast is what the American people want to see. When they are asked specifically, what are you going to do for the middle class? What are you going to do about housing? I anticipate that you will hear from the vice president when she says, I understand that you're struggling. I understand that you can't buy a home. And while I can't set the interest rate as the president of the United States, what I can do is make sure that I push for legislation that will offer up to $25,000 for down payment assistance for those first-time home buyers. While Donald Trump doesn't have a plan beyond helping out those at the very top, which is why he's fighting to get back in, because those tax Trump cuts are that's what they were. They were Trump cuts. They are going to expire in 2025. And so we know that he and his very rich friends are now going to start to have to pay their fair share.
Mr. Donald, your rebuttal.
The debate, all the pressures on Kamala Harris, not Donald Trump. We know who Donald Trump is and what he's going to do. She has to demonstrate the stature, the competency, and then the ideas to be president of the United States. So I think you're going to see more out of this campaign as things trend downwards for Kamala Harris.
I'm going to have the docu-points right there, Byron Donalds. While you may assert that the pressure is on Kamala Harris because we know who Donald Trump is, this is who Donald Trump is.
Can you imagine you're a parent and your son leaves the house and you say, Jimmy, I love you so much. Go have a good day in school. And your son comes back with a brutal operation. Can you even imagine this? What the hell is wrong with our country?
So all she has to assert is that she's not this.
Can you imagine you're a parent and your son leaves the house and you say, Jimmy, I love you so much. Go have a good day in school. And your son comes back with a brutal operation. Can you even imagine this? What the hell is wrong with our country?
Did her campaign, when they said that they wanted to change the rules that they had agreed to, did they ask for notes? Did they ask for the...
They wanted notes.
They wanted to be seated, and they wanted your mic hot.
And they wanted a desk. They didn't want to do... I said, you got to do a stand-up.
After they already agreed to the other.
Yeah, but they wanted a desk from the beginning. You know who else wanted a desk? Sleepy Joe. He wanted it.
Congressman, I'm being rather facetious here, but why do you think she wanted notes? Why not a teleprompter?
Well, she wants notes because she can't remember the policy positions that she's talking about right now. Let's just be very clear. All the things that Kamala Harris is going out in the campaign trail and saying, why didn't she sponsor that when she was a member of the United States Senate? She's the #2 official in our government. How come she didn't have conversations with Joe Biden to get that stuff done right now? All these things are coming up because she wants to be president of the United States, not because she believes them, not because they're her core principles, her core ideas.
Okay, now, first of all, Byron Donalds, who's your friend? Why you bring a +1? The dude with the English accent. This don't even involve him. Get security. Tell him to get out. Now, as far as your argument, that would make sense as her being vice president. Why didn't she institute some of those policies if your candidate wasn't literally president? Oh, Ms. Crockett wants to take it. Okay, you got it.
Here's something else. This is from NBC's Yamiche Alcindor, who reports the vice president's debate plan is to keep calm and get under Trump's skin. And among the issues the VP might raise are Trump's failure to get Mexico to pay for the wall, his COVID response, his failure to come up with an Affordable Care Act alternative, his failure to pass a sweeping infrastructure bill, and the critical role that he played in killing a bipartisan border bill. So what's behind the Harris strategy on this?
Yeah, I think that she wants to appear as if she is the adult in the room, and she is. What we will see is this whining child who will sit there and won't give direct answers, and honestly will distract and be a bumbling fool. We've seen it on the trail when he starts talking about, wind, and he starts complaining about sharks. I mean, the guy is really weird and off his rocker. And so I think that she really wants to, number one, assure the American people that she has a grasp on the issues, as well as remind them of why we kicked him out in the first place, and remind them as to why we don't want to go back. Because right now it's been a glorification, but people aren't talking about those freezer trucks that had deceased bodies sitting in them because he botched COVID-19. We're not talking about the millions of people that died. We're not talking about the reason that small businesses had to shut down was because he failed to acknowledge that we even had a pandemic going on and that he was telling people to inject themselves with bleach. What they don't want to talk about is how they lost all these jobs, or the fact that we went $8 trillion into debt in one term under Trump, because it was never about the rest of us. It was always about him and his friends. And so I think that the contrast will be clear, that she can remain cool in all situations, but also she will get to the facts.
Mr. Donalds, your eyebrows are on fire right now. I don't know if you want to address that or if you would like to rebut first. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Apparently that was Beijing.
Her child tax credit plan that she has is the same one they stuck in the American Rescue Plan, which created the labor shortage, which unleashed this inflation back in 2021. She already broke the economy once. America, please don't let Kamala Harris break it again.
Ooh, I am so sorry, Mr. Donalds. We actually cannot accept your answer when it comes to the economy, or anything from you when it comes to the economy. Some new information has just come to light. Is this what you mean by break the economy? Huh? Break the economy? You mean like this? We won't be hearing from you on the economy again. By the way, send me an email if you think that deserves its own video. Reese@ReeseWaters.com.
The reason why Kamala Harris wants to change the rules now to have open microphones is because she wants to interrupt Donald Trump. She wants to be able to create a spectacle out of this debate, which would prevent her from actually being forced to discuss public policy, discuss her positions in detail.
I'm sorry. Didn't you just previously assert that she didn't have the confidence, right? Didn't you say she seemed small, she didn't have the confidence? But now she wants to interrupt Donald Trump. So Donald Trump needs the microphones to be muted in order to protect him from Kamala Harris going at him, but yet she's the one that doesn't have the confidence and seems small. Are you hearing yourself? Because we hear you. Are you hearing yourself?
She wants to create some sort of moment, some sort of YouTube spectacle that can be replayed so she can hide behind the debate as opposed to talking about the policies that impact the American people.
Oh, she wants to create a YouTube moment, like a social media thing. Like if she were to cozy up to the owner of a social media platform and promise him a cabinet position if he's elected, like something like that.
Boeing had a little, I shouldn't say there's a beautiful Boeing plane there, but Boeing had a little hard time, as you heard. So they're going to save, Leon's going to send up a rocket he looks forward to it. That's all he thinks about is things like that.
I know Elon Musk gotta love that.
She wants to be able to create this moment where she owns Donald Trump for 10 seconds. That's just ridiculous. It's not what matters in our country. Donald Trump has debated everybody from Hillary Clinton to Joe Biden, all points in between. He can definitely debate Kamala Harris, but it is in the interest of the American people that Kamala Harris is not allowed to make this debate a spectacle. It has to be about the issues facing America, because she has serious questions that she refuses to answer. And the way they're campaigning, the only way the American people will get a straight answer about her policy positions and the thought process behind them, and that's very important, the thought process behind them, is if she actually has a very clear debate with Donald Trump where both people have an opportunity to express themselves without being interrupted, whether it be by the moderators or by the opposing person. Kamala Harris wants a spectacle. She doesn't want a debate on issues.
So if I'm following your logic, we need to have the muted microphones so that each candidate can express themselves without being interrupted, yet we need to make sure that she's pressed and has to express some of her policy views. But if she's able to talk without being interrupted, she can say whatever the hell she wants. Are you hearing yourself? I'm just trying to make sure, because there might be some audio issues. I know Trump likes to claim he has audio issues when he don't want to answer the question. I'm trying to, are you hearing yourself? Okay, well, how is your command of the English language?
Let's agree on something. I am, obviously one of the better communicators in the Republican Party. I know how to put words together. I do it very, very often.
Let's be brutally honest. If you took a survey of the Republican conference on Capitol Hill and said, would you prefer Trump to play golf for the rest of the campaign and let his campaign drive the message, or have Donald Trump do events, we all know which they'd prefer. Is he right?
Absolutely. Let him go play golf. Every time he opens his mouth, the truth comes out, and the truth is not a pretty thing. The truth is tied to the agenda of Project 2025. The truth is tied to his history as it relates to discriminating against people of color when it came to housing, or when it came down to how he wanted the Central Park 5 hung. The truth only hurts him. So, yeah, they want him to shut up and allow them to kind of continue on so that they can continue to deceive people into believing that these two candidates both have something wonderful to offer this country, when we know that there's only one candidate that is qualified and only one candidate that is interested in moving our country forward instead of moving us back to the Jim Crow era of the 1950s and 60s.
Wow, Ms. Crockett has just gone all in. Mr. Donalds, in order for us to continue this undercard or rule this a knockout in favor of Ms. Crockett, I'm going to need you to answer this question. And yes, her microphone will be muted. I'm going to need you to answer this question. Would you rather Trump be doing this debate or be at home at Mar-a-Lago in his basement on True Social tweeting nonsense that the mainstream media will ignore? I know. Yeah, I know. While I can't blame you because, well...
So if I don't win Colorado, it will be taken over by migrants and the governor will be sent fleeing, because the people of Colorado should really do something that would be a classic. They should do a major protest vote in favor of Trump to reject the threat to democracy that they caused by an attempt at ballot removal. The black population and the Hispanic population are being decimated by these people coming in unchecked, unbalanced. They're coming in and they're taking the black population and the Hispanic population jobs. And next is going to be unions. You watch the unions suffer.
And that was just from one weekend. The fact that you would rather him stay in his own basement then open his mouth for the open public means I have to rule in favor of Ms. Crockett. That is a whole knockout. In addition to the fact that Trump himself doesn't believe any of the things that you were saying because he's already trying to lower expectations.
I'm going into very hostile territory shortly on a debate with ABC, George Slopadopoulos and that group. And ABC, I think, is the worst of everybody. I think they're the worst. They're the nastiest. They're as bad as you can be. They're worse than NBC, which is saying a lot. And we have something coming. And the reason I'm doing it is because that's the only one that she would do it with, because her best friend is the head of ABC or ABC News, and her husband's best friend is married to that one. So, and Donna Brazile is there. You remember the famous Donna Brazile? She gave Hillary Clinton the questions. You remember that? That was a little embarrassing. She got fired, I assume, for that. But now she's working at ABC.
And at the end of the day, if Kamala Harris is ever in trouble, I got 2 words for you. Childcare.
If you win in November, can you commit to prioritizing legislation to make childcare affordable? And if so, what specific piece of legislation will you advance?
Well, I would do that, and we're sitting down. You know, I was somebody, we had Senator Marco Rubio, and my daughter Ivanka was so impactful on that issue. It's a very important issue. But I think when you talk about the kind of numbers that I'm talking about, that, because look, childcare is childcare. There's something, you have to have it. In this country, you have to have it. But when you talk about those numbers compared to the kind of numbers that I'm talking about by taxing foreign nations at levels that they're not used to, but they'll get used to it very quickly. And it's not going to stop them from doing business with us, but they'll have a very substantial tax when they send product into our country. Those numbers are so much bigger than any numbers that we're talking about, including childcare, that it's going to take care. We're going to have, I look forward to having no deficits within a fairly short period of time, coupled with the reductions that I told you about on waste and fraud and all of the other things that are going on in our country, because I have to stay with childcare. I want to stay with childcare, but those numbers are small relative to the kind of economic numbers that I'm talking about, including growth, but growth also headed up by what the plan is that I just told you about. We're going to be taking in trillions of dollars, and as much as child care is talked about as being expensive, it's relatively speaking not very expensive compared to the kind of numbers we'll be taking in. We're going to make this into an incredible country that can afford to take care of its people, and then we'll worry about the rest of the world. Let's help other people. But we're going to take care of our country first. This is about America first. It's about make America great again. We have to do it.
Oh, we ready. Kamala, are you ready?
Are you ready, Madam Vice President?
Ready.
Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and especially those of you that have liked and subscribed to the page. Did y'all know I had a website? I know, it's so kind of old-fashioned these days. Yes, I have a website, ReeseWaters.com. There you'll find my most recent work, but also my past work if you want to know a little bit more about me. You'll also find a portal where you could sign up for my newsletter. You could also sign up by sending me an email at reese@reesewaters.com. You could also send me any suggestions for ideas, something I need to take a look at, or you just want to say hello. And by the way, if you go to the website now, you'll find a little something special. That's right, we got merch. There's mugs there, there's t-shirts there, there's hats there, repping street politics, troubled waters, and of course, Racists of the Week. Where would we be without Racists of the Week? I don't know that I would have any content.
Byron Donalds, Florida. Wow, that's nice to have you here. That's good. That one is smart. You have smart ones and you have some that aren't quite so good.
Donalds.
McCarthy. That one is smart. You have smart ones and you have some that aren't quite so good. Look at my African American over here. Look at him.
Hi, my name is Reese Waters and I'm troubled. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the page. I'm just playing, I ain't troubled. It's a momentous occasion. It's a celebration because Byron Donalds finally got his buttered biscuits.
Byron Donalds, Florida. Wow, that's nice to have you here. That's good. That one is smart. You have smart ones and you have some that aren't quite so good.
One of the smart ones, huh? That's a new one, because generally he goes with...
Look at my African American over here. Look at him. Are you the greatest? Do you know what I'm talking about?
And it's also a step up for Byron Donalds, because generally they just give him the head pat.
Donalds. McCarthy.
That one is smart. You have smart ones and you have some that aren't quite so good.
But one of the smart ones. What do you mean by that?
What do you mean by that?
I mean, I might give him the benefit of the doubt, maybe if he hadn't routinely mentioned black jobs.
Who's gonna tell him that the job he's currently seeking might just be one of those black jobs?
Or constantly question Kamala Harris's intelligence while he's off ranting about bacon.
The truth is they're trying to get out of it because she doesn't want to debate. She's not a good debater. She's not a smart person.
Meanwhile,
you take a look at bacon and some of these products, and some people don't eat bacon anymore. And we are going to get the energy prices down. When we get energy down, you know, this was caused by their horrible energy wind. They want wind all over the place. But when it doesn't blow, we have a little problem.
Or wondered if America was ready for a black winner of a business competition. Well, that makes sense because all the way back in the 1950s, America might not have been ready for a black, huh? Oh, it was the 60s? The 70s then? The 80s? Wait, it was the 90s? Is America ready in the 2000s? The 2010s? This happened in the 2010s?
I've never known Mr. Trump to be comfortable around black people. I think he might be comfortable around a certain sliver of black people, a certain type of black people, but I've never known him to be comfortable in our general company. I remember when I was on The Apprentice, there was always this stilted interaction between us where he couldn't quite figure me out. I was that, unicorn Negro, and I'm trying to figure out, how do I interact with this guy? Do I dap him up? Do I talk about sports? Do I, refer to his Wall Street experience? He can never quite figure out my background and where I fit in. And so I've never known him to have comfort around anyone who's not just in his small box.
Well, you earned it, Byron Donalds, after months of repeating the same lies.
So if Mr. Trump feels so strongly that Milwaukee is a horrible city, why is he having his convention there?
Well, two things. First of all, when you bring these comments up, please bring them in context. I'm glad that you mentioned what the campaign said afterwards, but I noticed that your network and a lot of the press are not doing that. With respect to Milwaukee, he was talking about allegations of voter fraud and also the crime rate. And I think it's important for people to understand your murder rate may be down, but that doesn't mean that violent crime, etc., are also lower. Those are two different pieces of crime. Obviously, murder is the most heinous of them all.
Byron Donalds, which one is it? Which one is it? You tried to just outright lie and say it had to do with election fraud, but you just had to throw in the crime, didn't you? You just had to throw in the crime. So when people say that another city is a horrible city, why do they say such a thing? Typically got to do with crime, right? Oh no, he's not saying it was horrible. It's just the election stuff. And also the crime. Really? Reinventing history?
You see, during Jim Crow, the black family was together.
That's right.
During Jim Crow, more black people were not just conservative, because black people always have been conservative-minded, but more black people voted conservatively. And then H.E.W., Lyndon Johnson, and then you go down that road, and now we are where we are.
And ruining your name in the community.
The owner of Rocky's Barbershop in Atlanta says he feels he was misled by a campaign event for former President Trump.
I thought it was like something real private.
It was anything but. Rocky, along with black business owners from across metro Atlanta, crammed into his shop, along with Trump surrogates.
But hold on, Wesley. Hold on, Wesley. My brother. Hold on. Calm down, though. My man.
Speech! It looks like the people want you to say a few words.
I was in New York last night, and I'm sitting down in the studio, and they say, Congressman, we want to play you the first clip of Kamala's interview on CNN. And so, of course, I'm like, sure, let's see it. I'm interested. And I watched the clip. And in my mind, I'm thinking, we waited 40 days for that?
Look at my African American over here. Look at him.
See, actually, no, you didn't wait 40 days for that because that was a clip. Actually, you said that yourself, that it was just a clip. So I'm trying to figure out what exactly you thought a clip was.
I was in New York last night.
Also, touche on avoiding Atlanta by multiple states. Way to give yourself a lot of buffer.
You don't forget about where you from. Don't paint the picture. Don't tell us that we can't educate our kids.
It took her 40 days to come out and demonstrate to the American people that she hasn't changed. She said it herself. Her values haven't changed. They are the same values that will take away your purchasing power. They are the same values that will shut down fracking in Western Pennsylvania.
Look at my African American over here. Look at him.
Okay, now that we've established that you don't know what a clip is, later in the interview, she actually addresses that exact thing directly. Like, I don't know if you thought a clip was like an entire hour condensed into 30 seconds, but I'm wondering what the education system is like down in Florida. Actually, I'm not wondering. I know exactly how trash it is.
They are the same values that leave our southern border wide open. They are the same values that have our adversaries emboldened. And there is only one person who can stop her and save America.
Apparently that man is whoever edited the clip. Because again, those are all things that she addresses. This did not age well, Byron. You might actually lose your biscuits at the end of this.
Byron Donalds, Florida. Wow, that's nice to have you here. That's good. That one is smart.
You know, the Wall Street Journal editorial board, continuing from those quotes we read before, the vice president got away for the most part with repeating her campaign's platitudes. That's a shame because the voters still haven't received a straight answer about whether and how she has changed her views from the far left positions she espoused in 2019. Oh
yeah, the Wall Street Journal can get some smoke too. Okay, so she repeated her platitudes as opposed to contradicting them? As opposed to contradicting the things that she has previously said. And then you want to double down on that and say that the American public hasn't received an answer on her consistency after you say that she repeated the things that she has said previously. What is reading comprehension in this country? They just as bad as Fox News. They think their readers are idiots.
She didn't have any specifics, and Dana Bash gave her an opportunity to provide specifics, but she sidestepped them all. And the reason why is because she has the same policy visions and values she had in 2019, but now she has to hide them from the American people.
Look at my African American over here. Look at him.
Oh, you mean like these kind of specifics?
Prices, in particular for groceries, are still too high. The American people know it, I know it. Which is why my agenda includes what we need to do to bring down the price of groceries. For example, dealing with an issue like price gouging. What we need to do to extend the child tax credit to help young families be able to take care of their children in their most formative years. What we need to do to bring down the cost of housing. My proposal includes what would be a tax credit of $25,000 for first-time home buyers.
Are those the kind of specifics that you're looking for?
Byron Donalds, Florida. Wow, that's nice to have you here. That's good. That one is smart. You have smart ones and you have some that aren't quite so good.
That's why she didn't look confident in her answers. This is why she was looking at the table more than she was looking at the camera or Dana Bash, because I do not believe, and I think if people watch it, they will pretty much see she doesn't believe what she's saying.
Look at my African American over here. Look at him.
Ooh, big mistake, Byron. Big mistake. Okay, so apparently she was looking at the table and not looking at Dana Bash, and you're questioning her body language and then saying if people watch it. Well, if people watch it, they will see this.
The voters are really eager to hear what your plans are. If you are elected, what would you do on day one in the White House?
I think, sadly, in the last decade, we have had in the former president someone who has really been pushing an agenda and an environment that is about diminishing the character and the strength of who we are as Americans, really dividing our nation, and I think people are ready to turn the page on that.
That one is smart. You have smart ones and you have some that aren't quite so good.
So you don't also want to say that people should watch it, because the only way that your words will be received with any legitimacy is if, in fact, people do not watch it.
She's just trying to get elected, but the country needs leadership. It does not need fake pandering.
Look at my African American over here. Look at him.
Oh, fake pandering. Uh-huh. Oh, you mean like, I don't know, a fake Jamaican accent? When Bisa Hall met fellow Florida A&M University freshman Byron Donalds on campus in 1996, she believed the future congressman and Donald Trump VP shortlister was from another country. Quote, he told me he was from Jamaica and he had a Jamaican accent and he was cute. Then the next time I saw him, the Jamaican accent was gone and he said he was from New York. Now, a lot of us like to reinvent ourselves when we decide to go to college or just when we go out of town in general. But a whole accent that you clearly weren't very committed to. I mean, what, you thought you would just give it 2 weeks?
Byron Donalds, Florida. Wow, that's nice to have you here. That's good. That one is smart.
Is that the kind of fake pandering you talking about? Yeah.
I think what Donald Trump and J.D. Vance are doing is the absolute right approach. Because she hides from the media and because, frankly, her campaign hides her from the media, because we saw last night she's not very good at this, they are flooding the zone, pushing their message relentlessly.
Look at my African American over here. Look at him. Are you the greatest? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Did you just accuse her of hiding from the media while responding to an interview she gave to the media? Is that what just happened?
Demonstrating the fact that Kamala Harris is the current vice president. In that interview last night, she tried to deflect back to when she was a prosecutor. That was almost a decade ago, more than that. She's in the vice presidency's seat right now. She lives at the Naval Observatory today. What has she done?
Look at my African American over here. Look at him. Are you the greatest? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Okay, so let me try and understand this. So what she's done as vice president is relevant, but what she did prior to becoming vice president is not relevant. And also what she's saying she wants to do and what she's saying she feels now is also not relevant. So her statements today are not relevant, and her whole life history up until 2020 is not relevant. Only the time that she's vice president is relevant. Good luck with that.
Forget all of things that she said. People, go back and watch her body language. When she talked about her niece, she's looking at Dana Bash. She's smiling. She looks relaxed. But when you ask her about her policies and the flip-flopping, she's looking down. She's looking small. She doesn't look like she has confidence in what she's saying because she doesn't believe it. She's trying to remember what they coached her to say. That is not the leadership our country needs in this pressing hour. We need Donald J. Trump.
Look at my African American over here.
Here we go again with the body language. Bruh, man. They gonna take his biscuits. They really gonna take his I'm concerned for Byron. I really am concerned for Byron. I can think of one specific clip that you might want to watch talking about her body language.
He said last month, he suggested that you happened to turn black recently for political purposes, questioning a core part of your identity.
Yeah.
Any
Same old tired playbook. Next question, please.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay.
Byron Donalds, Florida. Wow, that's nice to have you here. That's good. That one is smart.
But I'd go back to just the body language. I didn't see the lively starlet Kamala Harris from the DNC convention. I saw somebody that didn't look comfortable in their own skin answering questions from Dana Bash, who's about as friendly as a reporter as you're going to get.
Look at my African American over here. Look at him. Are you the greatest? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I also see somebody who's uncomfortable in his own skin answering questions. Yeah, I also concur. Speaking of the starlet Kamala Harris, oh, you mean the Kamala Harris who was attacked for laughing?
What do you want to know?
Jesse, I know that you are a student of human behavior, and I've been dying to ask you all day what you thought about the fact that, I mean, that's a question I think she should have anticipated, but what does the laughing indicate?
The cackle is a defense mechanism, and it's used to buy time and to create comfort when there's no comfort that actually exists. She is kind of oh yeah, I am an expert in human behavior, except I know nothing about myself.
You mean the Kamala Harris who's attacked because she had joy? That's the one that you wanted, huh?
Byron Donalds, Florida. Wow, that's nice to have you here. That's good. That one is smart.
Look, I think with Kamala Harris, this campaign is set up to try to be above politics. That's why they're not talking to reporters. That's why they're really not engaging with anybody.
Look at my African American over here. Look at him.
Does he know that he is responding to an interview? Is he aware? Does he know how time works? We gonna need a federal investigation into these Florida schools. It's bad.
That one is smart. You have smart ones and you have some that aren't quite so good.
But the support that they've been able to amass, it's very broad, it's real, but it's thin because there's no substance to it. It's about feelings.
Look at my African American over here. Look at him.
Oh, it's about feelings, kind of like this idea of being replaced in America and trying to preserve, patriotism and trying to make sure that America looks the way that it's always looked, as opposed to do those billionaire tax breaks actually come at my expense? You mean those kind of specifics in that kind of substance? Despite the fact that not only would he consider me beneath somebody that would ever even go to Mar-a-Lago, and by all means would certainly never come to my home, if I was fortunate enough to get a job working for him, he wouldn't pay me. You mean that kind of feelings over substance? Is that what you mean?
Byron Donalds, Florida.
It's about whether you like Donald Trump or not. It's about thinking that you can just move forward in this abstract way without the concrete ideas you need to propel our nation forward.
Look at my African American over here. Look at him. Are you the greatest? Do you know what I'm talking about?
You mean like these kind of concrete ideas?
No water in your faucets. You ever try buying a new home and you turn on, they have restrictors in there. You want to wash your hair? Or you want to wash your hands. You turn on the water and it goes drip, drip. The soap, you can't get it off your hand. So you keep it running for about 10 times longer. You're trying. The worst is your hair. I have this beautiful, luxuriant hair. And I put stuff on. I put it in. Lather. I like lots of lather because I like it to come out extremely dry because it seems to be slightly thicker that way. And I lather up and then you turn on this crazy shower and the thing drip, I just say, I'm going to be here for 45 minutes. They put restrictors, and they put them on in places like here where there's so much water you don't know what to do with it. You know, it's called rain. It rains a lot in certain places. But no, their idea, you know, did you see the other day? They just I opened it up and they closed it again. I opened it, they closed it. Washing machines to wash your dishes. There's a problem. They don't want you to have any water. They want no water.
Is this kind of concrete ideas to propel our nation forward that you're looking for?
Byron Donalds, Florida.
This is not good, Byron. I mean, it was not a good time. It was not a good time for this to happen after you just had gotten your bit. Here they come. Oh, Byron. You want the good news or the bad news? You want the good news or the bad? Okay, so the good news is they didn't come and take your buttered biscuits for coming out here and embarrassing yourself talking about Kamala Harris. You get to keep your buttered biscuits. The bad news, they took your drink. Yeah, they took your drink. Yeah, you gonna have to eat all them buttered biscuits with no drink. I think they trying to take you out. Sincere thanks to everybody who's reached out to me and submitted suggestions for videos. Keep them coming. I take submissions for ideas for a video, suggestions for Racist of the Week. If you have something that just troubles you, or you just want to send me a note, because I love getting those notes, go ahead and shoot me an email at reese@reesewaters.com. I also have a newsletter that I send out periodically, so you'll be receiving that as well. You can also sign up on my website, reesewaters.com.
She can claim to be black because of her Jamaican father. She is not a black person.
What? What? What is going on? Hi, my name is Reese Waters and I'm troubled. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the page. Now, you might remember when Clancy Mice decided to intentionally butcher Kamala Harris's name.
I fought my way through it.
So pronounce her name right.
Let me actually
pronounce her name right.
Kamala Harris. If
Kamala.
I were
You said this. We don't call you Nancy.
I want.
Thankfully, now there's a program to help her with that.
What are you here to do?
To teach you how to say your auntie's name.
Okay. So how do you pronounce it?
First you say comma like a comma in a sentence. Then you say la like la 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 la.
Put it together and it's 1, 2, 3, Kamala.
Well, before Nipsey Moose went off the rails, they were actually discussing a black-owned MAGA store in Virginia. And let me first say that after I initially recoiled at the thought of a black-owned MAGA store, the idea of siphoning MAGA money to black people is actually quite revolutionary. Like we know that the MAGA people are going to spend money on the hats and the t-shirts and the hoodies and the jackets and the mud flaps and the beer koozies and the court-ordered ankle monitors. But being able to siphon that money away and circulate it in the black community is actually quite admirable. It's like maybe the most honest conservative grift there is out there. Instead of pretending to back the blue and hating all things brown, despite the fact that that color emanates from my face, I'm just going to sell you the thing that I know that you want anyway and take your money. It's kind of direct. Anyway, I thought you should see this.
As recent polls show, Vice President Harris gaining momentum in her bid for the presidency. They also show her winning over more support from a key voting bloc, black voters. According to data this week from Pew Research Center, 77% of black voters support Harris compared to 64% who backed Biden in July. Trump's support among black voters is unchanged at around 13%. Now, this comes as the former president is trying to appeal more to the black community, a group that has long and overwhelmingly backed Democrats. CNN's Ellie Reeves spent time recently in Virginia at a shop selling Trump merchandise that's run by a black woman.
Every woman ought to have one of these. It's one of those things that when people see one, then they want one.
Is that a bathing suit or a Confederate flag? Or a Confederate flag bathing suit? I have seen all combinations of them and never did I feel like, oh, you said women.
Same thing with the Confederate hat. You know why? Because people don't think you have the nerve to do it.
Okay, so wait, are we wearing these ironically or? I mean, you're wearing it because people don't think you have the nerve. So I'm assuming that this is all a joke.
Joanne Price runs a Trump store in Christiansburg, Virginia. When Joe Biden announced he wouldn't run for president again, was there any part of you who felt a pull to vote for Harris?
No, absolutely not. I would not vote for either one of them. I would not vote Democrat ticket, no way.
Okay, just so we're clear, it is not ironic. Go on.
This is a white privilege card. And this is just a play. It just says this card trumps everything and it gives the barrier happiness and success because of the color of the skin.
And who buys that?
White people.
Okay.
It's funny.
And then when you give it to a state trooper, they'll let you go. Won't write you a ticket.
You think so?
I've experienced it. Yeah.
Wait, really?
And then he said, okay, he laughed at it and gave it back to me and did not write me a ticket.
Okay, now help me with this. Does the use of the white privilege card disprove white privilege? Especially when the troopers actually let you go? Do y'all have any idea what irony means?
This actually happened at least once elsewhere. In 2022, a woman claimed Alaska police let her go without a ticket when she flashed a white privilege card instead of a driver's license.
It's humorous to us, you know, it really is. It's humorous to the average American out here.
For 2-1, he was a Republican too.
Oh yeah, hilarious.
Trump has been working to appeal to black voters, and polls showed some success when Biden was still in the race, but have since gone down.
The Trump campaign this year has made a big effort to reach out to black voters. What do you think of their efforts?
I think their efforts are succeeding tremendously. All the things that have happened to President Trump, the attacks on him, have done nothing more than strengthen black people's connection to him. Because now he's someone who is the target of a struggle, and they have always felt that they've been a target.
Okay, so help me with this one. So if you are ceding that black people feel like they've always been a target of the struggle, then why then would white privilege be a joke? You can't have it both ways, lady. Yes, I have a return. Yes, you're nonsense.
I did prison ministries for 5 years. So, you know, if you're a convicted felon and then somebody else is a convicted felon, there's a camaraderie there.
Oh, okay, I got it. So you must be, you convicted felon? Huh? I wouldn't be surprised. Why didn't America just think of this before and just run felons?
Donald Trump attacked Kamala Harris, questioning her racial identity. She's black.
Promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black.
He's acknowledged his commentary has provoked mixed reactions. Price is just one person and not a swing voter. But we were curious what she made of his comments, given that she's a black woman and fervent Trump supporter and former local Republican Party chair.
Yeah, she is definitely not a swing voter. She probably voted for George Wallace. Now let me just tell you what seeing that hat, I'm a Trump girl, get over it, means to me. It's one thing that you just want to support the man, but you clearly are not secure in your choice, or you wouldn't have put get over it on the hat. You clearly are not secure in your choice, or you wouldn't have said at the beginning of this piece, they don't think that you have the nerve to do it. Why do you think anybody else has all of this significant interest on what you decide to do with all of the time that you clearly wouldn't otherwise use for anything constructive. Sounds like you need to get over it. I have.
How do you make sense of how Trump talks about Vice President Kamala Harris? That he sort of suggests that he doesn't understand her biracial background, that first she was Indian and then she was black. What do you
I don't
make
understand
of that?
it either. She's Indian and she's Jamaican.
Yeah.
Is she black?
I mean, do you not think she's black?
Is she? Was she born here?
Yes.
Yes. Were her parents citizens? No.
Okay. But we have birthright citizenship in America.
Mm-hmm. We call that anchor.
People can't immigrate here and not be citizens, but have green cards and work permits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. However, she can claim to be black because of her Jamaican father. You know, that's her right. We're a melting pot, you know, because I basically have a combination in my family as well.
What? What? What is going on?
How do you reconcile that? Like, you have a history of blended families in your family. How do you reconcile that with Trump seeming to not understand how Kamala Harris could have a blended family herself?
She could have a blended family. What I'm saying is his comments about that, I think he's making a point. And, you know, I'm not so disturbed by that.
But what is the point he's making?
The point he's making simply is that she is not a black person.
I can tell you this, she ain't alone.
There were some mixed views on the idea of a woman president.
What do you think about Kamala Harris?
Kamala Harris, may I say this, and hopefully that you ladies won't get offended. But because of what happened in the Garden of Eden, there will never be an elected woman, whether she's black or white, that would occupy the White House that God would ever stand behind.
See, at the point in which he said that, you should have just got rid of all his footage. I mean, really, or just led with that. Lead with that so I know exactly how to process everything else that comes out of his mouth.
I'm not sure America's quite ready for female leadership. It would be wonderful to have a female president if and when one arises that has conservative values that are going to lead the nation in prosperity.
Did Joe Biden dropping out change your view of the election at all?
Oh, it surely did. I think she's going to be worse than Joe. I just don't think she has the experience. I think she was only chosen because she was a woman.
Yes, the Joe and the hoe must go. Why leave the anti-blackness by itself when you can throw sexism in with it? Oh, they love it. They're together. They laugh and they laugh.
He has been mocked, scrutinized, slandered, dragged into court. This man is still standing, and he's standing strong because he knows that he was chosen. He's our David.
You know who would agree? Bathsheba and her ex-husband that David sent to the front lines to be killed so he could have Bathsheba.
And Ellery joins me now. I'm wondering what you heard from other customers in the store.
Well, as much as identity politics was rebuked by the merchandise there, identity was still really important to the people I spoke to. For example, one younger man told me that he didn't like Harris because she was for city people who had office jobs, whereas Trump was for blue-collar people like him.
Okay, I just want you to do a quick thought experiment. Let's say, because she talked about identity politics and how important it was, let's say you strip away the identity of Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, strip away gender, strip away race, strip away all of that, and you just look at their life stories. And you telling me that Donald Trump is for the blue collar worker? Word? Word?
And how did you meet the woman who runs the store?
I met her about 6 months ago in Virginia. She told me this story of wearing a Confederate flag swimsuit on the beach and how so many people had come up to her. She realized she'd missed a marketing opportunity.
This what we doing for attention now, ladies? This what we doing for attention now, ladies? Man, it is rough. The way that y'all like to denigrate all the women of today, talking about all the lost values and we're losing recipes. And you got this lady out here, 60 plus, wearing a Confederate swimsuit on the beach so that she can get a little piece of attention. Is that how bad it's gotten? There is pick-me behavior, and then there is a black woman wearing a Confederate bathing suit on the beach. Now, this isn't the first time that I've covered black MAGAs.
I support Trump against this corrupt, two-tiered justice system. That's why I'm here to show my support as a black man for Trump. And I'm wearing my shirt, Niggas for Trump 2024, and I mean that.
Black lives. Black lives. Black lives. Thank you very much, family.
She's going through this metamorphosis, and it's painful. Like, it is really painful to come out of that cocoon, especially, I would imagine it's 10 times worse for you because your cocoon is Hollywood.
Yeah.
And there's no room. I mean, mine was hard enough just being black and being like, hey, I am like a conservative.
Oh, I'm no longer black.
Consider myself a black woman. Absolutely not. I do not consider myself a black woman. Absolutely not.
So it is good to know that Michaela Montgomery, Amber Rose, and Ants for Trump have a place to get their wares and still buy black. Cue the song.
I never thought the leopards would eat my face.
Welcome to Racist of the Week. This is where we usually expose the stupidity and hypocrisy of discrimination in hopes we can build a more perfect union. And also laugh. As usual, I would like to thank today's sponsor, Racism. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the page, and definitely leave me any possible suggestions for nominees in the comments. By the way, if you haven't checked out the latest Racist of the Week compilation, it is live on my page. And looking at the voting, wow, it looks like Ann Coulter gave Donald Trump the closest run for his money he's ever had for Racist of the Month, which makes it quite different than real elections, which he apparently cannot win. That is live on my community tab as well. You can still vote on who you thought the Racist of the Month was. Now, here I was minding my own business.
And I'm here to do my black job.
Ah, that's right, minding my own black business. And then I see this headline. Now, we've seen black conservatives before.
Kamala Harris, may I say this, and hopefully that you ladies won't get offended, but because of what happened in the Garden of Eden, there will never be an elected woman, whether she's black or white, that would occupy the White House that God would ever stand behind.
And we're here to say that black lives, black lives, black lives. Thank you very much, family.
But this one would be a little bit different.
He's not known as a reactionary type person, and I would venture to say that the lawsuit has merit.
Claiming he was called a slave by a far-right group. Now his lawsuit is making national headlines. A Lee County man says he was out campaigning for former President Trump when the term was thrown at him. He says he was also bribed to get dirt on a local leader.
Tonight, NBC2's Gina Tomlinson is looking into this case.
If you've been to Republican events in Lee County, there's probably a good chance you've seen Carl Baxter. Friends say he's always wearing a red hat and a smile. The well-known Black Trump supporter now has a lawsuit in federal court against a right-wing political group for being called a slave.
I don't know why he would go through this trouble if it wasn't true what he said.
According to the lawsuit, Baxter was working for the political group Americans for Prosperity. 12 days into the job, Baxter complained to his supervisor he felt he wasn't being properly paid. It was during that phone call, Baxter claims she said, "You are working as a slave, but at least you are getting paid. Many slaves today do get paid. Many used to never get paid. Are you a slave?" The suit says minutes later he was fired. The president of the NAACP in Lee County tells me he's known Baxter for 10 years. He's offended by the allegations.
He's not known as a reactionary type person, and I would venture to say that the lawsuit has merit.
The lawsuit also claims Baxter was here at Oasis Restaurant in downtown Fort Myers when he turned down a $500 bribe from another member of Americans for Prosperity. Baxter claiming he was asked to provide dirt on Cape Coral Council member Patty Cummings.
My husband used to make big donations to Americans for Prosperity.
Elaine Green with the Lee County Republican Executive Committee says the organization is not what it used to be.
They're the original people for open borders, Chamber of Commerce people, just everything opposite of what we want, less government, less intrusion.
The members mentioned in the lawsuit said they're not allowed to comment, and the organization hasn't gotten back to me. Baxter was in a meeting today. We're waiting on a response from his lawyer.
All right, cue the music.
I never thought the leopards would eat my face. Oh, I never thought the leopards would eat my face.
For those unacquainted with the leopard eating the face, let me consult the internet. A notional political party supported by people who believe its cruel, unjust, or extreme policies and rhetoric will only harm other people and are then shocked or displeased when these policies and rhetoric have adverse consequences to themselves. In other words, myopia and selfishness. That is it in a nutshell. What's that? You would like some examples? Oh, well, I would love to give you some examples. How about single mother Crystal Minton, who voted for Donald Trump because she wanted him to, quote, hurt people who opposed him. But after the government shut down in 2019, she found that she was the one being hurt by Trump. Minton, a secretary at a federal prison, was out of work during the shutdown and unable to care for her children and disabled parents. Quote, I voted for him and he's the one who's doing this, she told the New York Times. I thought he was going to do good things. He's not hurting the people he needs to be hurting. As long as he's hurting people, all right? Yeah, it's okay that he's hurting people as long as it's those people. How about another one? After funding conservative candidates that were focused on abortion, bathrooms, and transgender restrictions, Republican Party mega donor Peter Thiel found himself unhappy with the party's direction. As a result, he decided to refrain from donating to any candidates running for office in 2024. In response to the story, a Redditor in the LAMF, that's Leopards Eating My Face community, commented, "You bought the ticket, Thiel, now you take the ride." How about we go for one more? Fueled by their religious convictions, Republicans in several states successfully passed laws banning books containing inappropriate sexual content and sensitive subject matters. Unexpectedly, the Bible fell under those restrictions and was also banned. Republican lawmakers are now trying to reverse the book bans that they created. Welcome to the Leopards Eating People's Faces party. And by the way, these GOP leopards have eaten plenty of black conservative faces. I mean, there was Omarosa, there was Stacey Dash, and who can forget Rob Smith?
Yes, Nick Fuentes loves gay sex. No, he doesn't. first. America first.
And these white supremacists absolutely do exist in this party. We all saw me face them from face to face. I'm looking at soulless, dead-eyed white supremacists that, by the way, I felt that these people could have bashed my brains in had they gotten the chance.
In fact, I have a brand new Rob Smith video on the way, thanks to Pilar, who emailed me at reese@reesewaters.com and hit me to this little ditty.
I'm going to tell you why black men are never going to vote for Kamala Harris, and it has nothing to do with the fact that she is quote-unquote black, because she's not even black. Black men are never going to vote for Kamala Harris because over the next 3 to 4 months, we are all going to be basically hit with this onslaught of all of these black women that are going to be telling black men that if they do not shut up and they do not get in line behind Kamala Harris, then they're all these sorts of things. They're going to be calling us all kinds of dogs. We hate black women. We don't respect them, etc., etc. And the same black women, okay, that are going to be elevated by the media and that are going to be going on all these cable news networks and doing all of this stuff on the internet, they are the same black women that black men can't stand. Okay? These are the same ones that are hectoring black men. These are the same ones that hate black men. These are the same ones that, by the way, are not even partnered with black men. These are the same ones that are elevated by dogging, denigrating, disrespecting black men. It is going to be the women that are telling black men that they have to vote for Kamala Harris. It is going to remind black men of every bitter baby mama. It is going to remind black men of every neck swiveling, bad attitude, masculinized black woman that they have ever dealt with in their entire life.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and have to address that. But back to the issue at hand, the dustiest club in America. Welcome, Carl Baxter. Okay, let's run this down. Headline, hard to feel sorry for him. Black Trump supporter mocked online after claiming he was called a slave by the conservative group he was campaigning for. I would agree with that. It's extremely hard to feel sorry for him. Let's dig in. Carl Baxter, a diehard Black Trump supporter from Florida, was 2 weeks in his new job promoting Republican policies when he realized he'd been underpaid for canvassing neighborhoods and knocking on doors. Now, he says he was underpaid. How much would they have to pay you to canvass neighborhoods and knock on doors on behalf of Republican policies and promoting them to the people? How much would they have to pay you to knock on doors to make sure that more people would call you a DEI? How much would they have to pay you to canvass neighborhoods, making sure that the people that are ensuring we never get a true accurate representation of American history is full? How much would they have to pay you? The article continues, but when he called his white supervisor to complain, Roxane Buckles told him he was a, quote, slave who should be grateful he's receiving any money at all, according to a federal lawsuit filed by Baxter on Monday, which accused Buckles of stating the following. I know you're doing the work and I can see the doors that you're hitting on my iPad on my side. Okay, I want to stop us right there. How? I need to understand, was he wearing an ankle monitor? How were you able to see the doors that he was not, are you somehow tripped into their doorbell cams? I think that deserves at least a little bit more scrutiny. Now, she continued, at least you are working as a slave, but at least you are getting paid. Many slaves today do get paid. Many used to never get paid. Are you a slave? Ooh, that's rough, Roxane. That is rough. I think where you really tripped up was where you said many used to never get paid. Because if you take that out and you say at least you're getting paid, many slaves today do get paid, then you could maybe make the argument that you were just talking about slave in the general sense, right? Like people talk about the working man being a slave. But then when you drop many used to never get paid, you're actually talking about actual real life slaves to a black person. That is, I would say it would be fireworthy in an employment sense, and also fire-worthy in a street sense where somebody might fire off on you. But I guess I can't put anything past Florida these days. I really can't. In fact, I got a piece coming out just juxtaposing Florida with Texas and who exactly is the most deplorable. We are in one of those states right now. Now, Baxter, who is president of the Republican Club of North and East Fort Myers, was offended by the remark and asked Buckles to contact her supervisor. So he has to speak to the manager. I'm not actually mad at him for doing that. I'm not actually, no, winning Karen, winning Karen. This is where you're at. Buckles' supervisor, a white man named Tim Hennessy, who previously attempted to pay Baxter to provide dirt on a Cape Coral city council member, joined them in a three-way phone call to discuss the issue, Baxter's claim states. And this was a three-way phone call. I know we're in Florida, and you hear three-way in Florida, you might be thinking Moms for Liberty. No, this was a three-way phone call. I also wonder, why was it that he thought the same guy that offered to pay him to dig up dirt on somebody was going to be the moral authority here? Like why would you think he would be the one to do the right thing? If anything, he's actually cutting a loose end by siding with her in this situation. Now, that conversation led to another three-way phone call. Again, not the Moms for Liberty type. This was a phone call between Hennessy, Baxter, and Jamie Franz, a white woman who works as an operations manager for Americans for Prosperity, the right-wing nonprofit that had hired Baxter to promote its agenda, but by the way, has never supported Trump. Franz wasted no time in firing Baxter, he claims. Oh man, that went left. That went left. You hate to see when going Karen doesn't work out. You hate to see when you ask to speak to the manager and all of a sudden they think that you are the wrong one. And I wonder why. I wonder why. Why was it that Baxter keeps losing these three-way phone calls? It really baffles the mind. However, it's been more than 2 months since he was fired, and he still hasn't received the money owed to him, according to the lawsuit filed by Jay Lerner from Lerner Law in Tampa. Listed as defendants are two groups, Americans for Prosperity and a company called ICC Compliance, LCC, which is doing business as Talent Wave. The lawsuit states the two companies were joint employers of Baxter and accuses them of racial discrimination, retaliation, and wage theft. Defendants intentionally subjected plaintiff to disparate treatment, race discrimination, and violation of Section 1981 by subjecting him to less favorable benefits, privileges, terms, and conditions of employment than those experienced by similarly situated non-African American employees. Okay, I'm gonna have to stop us right there. Now, the thing with him not getting paid is understandable. The thing with him being called a slave, yes, those are grounds for your lawsuit. But now you're hitting me with conditions of employment less than those experienced by similarly situated non-African American employees, less favorable benefits, privileges, terms, and conditions. But all of this was okay before they called you a slave and didn't pay you. Is that what I'm gathering? Is that what I'm gathering? Because I don't understand if you felt like you were subjected to less favorable benefits, privileges, terms, and conditions, why you were still there for them to call you a slave. Unless your red hat had somehow convinced you that that was okay, right? Your red hat had convinced you that it was all cool for you to be subjected to less. You just fell in line, didn't you? You just fell in line, and all of a sudden they went too far, called you a slave. Now all of a sudden you become the moral authority. All the other stuff was fine. You can treat me like that, just don't call me that. Specifically, defendants refused to pay the plaintiff for his employment services, instead calling him a slave, but did pay similarly situated non-African American employees for their employment services. Baxter was hired as a grassroots organizer and began working on June 14th at a rate of $20 an hour and was to be paid weekly. He was also supposed to be reimbursed for his mileage. So now you have a price on a black soul. It is $20 an hour. Yeah, when I asked at the beginning, how much would they have to pay you to go out into the community and grassrootsly try and work against the Civil Rights Act? and the Voting Rights Act, $20 an hour. Okay, at least we know. His main job duties required him to canvass neighborhoods and speak to voters about the policies being drafted by Americans for Prosperity, the conservative libertarian advocacy group founded by Charles Koch and the late David Koch, neither of whom has ever supported Trump, although that's a hair too small for me to even see at this point. Baxter, on the other hand, has long supported Trump, according to several photos on his Facebook page, where he's usually wearing a red MAGA cap and is usually the only black man standing among groups of white Republicans. So there you have it. Thinking that the cap was going to make sure that you got fair treatment, you didn't, and you still decided to soldier on. But when they didn't pay you and called you the slave, that was too far. That you don't have to treat me equal, just at least 3/5 of equal. The lawsuit states that Hennessy approached Baxter shortly after he had started working and offered him $500 to provide dirt on Cape Coral Council member Patty Cummings, who earlier this month pleaded guilty to 3 felony counts of fraud for lying about where she lived while running for office in 2022. Cummings was suspended last year by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis shortly after her arrest, was sentenced to 24 months probation after pleading guilty. Baxter refused to accept the $500 to dig up dirt on Cummings, get this, because she was a loyal Trump supporter like himself. Now, when I was defining the leopards eating faces earlier, I talked about selfishness and myopia, right? Thinking that, oh, well, you just need to hurt the other people. Just don't hurt me. It's fine that you hurt the other people. That's what I want you to do. So you were okay with her fraud because she supported Trump. So it's really not about any sort of right and wrong. It's not about any sort of legal or illegal. It's about who you support. Just as long as I'm clear. Just as long as I'm clear, it's just about who you support. This is really giving, because I watch a lot of crime shows, I watch a lot of ID, and occasionally they'll interview like the mama or the sister of the perpetrator. He never hurt nobody. Ma'am, we found all of the evidence in a duffel bag in his closet, and it had his name on it. And he also, we also have video footage of him wearing those clothes and committing the crime. So I believe he did in fact hurt somebody. It wasn't that. It was a Thursday. It was a Thursday, and because he don't act regular on Thursday. Did he have a Snickers? I don't think he had a Snickers. He wouldn't have done that if he would have had his Snickers. The lawsuit states that AFP's goal was to stop President Trump from winning the Republican nomination in 2024's presidential primaries and locally to oppose politicians who support President Trump. And they were doing that by canvassing the community in support of conservative policies. That's what you're going with? That's what you want to go with? Hey, cue the song.
I never thought the leopards would eat my face. Oh, I never thought the leopards would eat my face.
Now here's what I have to ask you. If anybody brown who's not supporting their supremacist views is a DEI, if here in the state of Florida, they're trying to assert that slaves learn skills that help them moving forward. If that's where they're at with it, how am I supposed to react when all of a sudden they don't treat you like they treat everybody else when you were doing their work? Clearly, they see you as a tool that is useful to advance their views and nothing more. And that's pretty easy to see. The only reason you would sign up for that is all of the motivations of a pick-me. So how am I supposed to receive a pick-me when he limps back home? Like Omarosa before you and Stacey Dash and Rob Smith, y'all are just the sorriest prodigal sons and daughters we ever wanted to see. You definitely can't come to the front door, and I don't even know if the back is open. Now, do we have a racist of the week? I'm not entirely sure. But we certainly have a cornball of the week. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and especially those of you that have liked and subscribed to the page. Did y'all know I had a website? I know, it's so kind of old-fashioned these days. Yes, I have a website, reesewaters.com. There you'll find my most recent work, but also my past work if you want to know a little bit more about me. You'll also find a portal where you could sign up for my newsletter. You could also sign up by sending me an email at reese@reesewaters.com, where you could also send me any suggestions for ideas, something I need to take a look at, or you just want to say hello. And by the way, if you go to the website now, you'll find a little something special. That's right, we got merch. There's mugs there, there's t-shirts there, there's hats there, repping street politics, troubled waters, and of course, racists of the week. Where would we be without racists of the week? I don't know that I would have any content.
And if you come for Gus, you're going to have to see me. If you come for Gus, you're going to have to see me. I said if you're going to come for Gus, you're going to have to see me.
I feel like you could have been nastier.
I'm reporting on the very last day of the Democratic National Convention here in Chicago, Illinois, and I feel like the entire week I've been very demure, very mindful, very cutesy, but ever since I saw Ann Coulter say this about Tim Walz' son who is disabled, I'm going to say fuck that shit. It's all out of the window. Man, fuck you, Ann. Don't nobody give a fuck about a woman who died 10 years ago and is decomposing and still dyes her hair with peroxide in the motherfucking...
Hi, I'm Reese Waters, and I'm troubled. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the page. This is a new segment that I'm tentatively calling Who Raised Y'all? Yes, so welcome to Who Raised Y'all? This is where we highlight those very special Americans who are going above and beyond to hold us back as a society. You know, the people that you'll hear asking to speak to the manager at the pearly gates. As usual, I would like to thank today's sponsor, These Hands. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the page, and definitely leave me any possible suggestions for nominees in the comments. Today's nominee, Ann Coulter, Mike Crispy, talk show host Jay Weber, Officer Tatum. You know what? All of MAGA. Just MAGA. Now, while the rest of us were either enjoying the DNC,
strategize on Sunday, meet the moment on Monday, take it to them on Tuesday, work it out on Wednesday, thank the Lord on Thursday, fight the power on Friday, set it off on Saturday, get a few hours of sleep, wake up the next day, and do it all over again until joy comes in the morning.
or ignoring the DNC.
Among the MAGAs, a lack of education is common, leading to a limited understanding of the world around them. This undereducation fuels their reliance on misinformation and conspiracy theories as they struggle to differentiate fact from fiction in their environment.
A few of us were spending quality time they'll never get back hate watching the DNC.
Survivors of crime.
No
to
way.
Remind them, no one should be made to fight alone.
Camilla Harris will never be my president.
Now, I won't judge a hate watch. I've hate watched many things, including the RNC, this year's NBA Finals, and Carmen, a hip opera. The key is not letting the hate watch turn you into an awful human being. And yes, I recognize, Ann Coulter, that might be difficult. I recognize that might be, not that it would turn you into an awful human being, just you start out awful. So it's not going to help your condition. Enter Ann Coulter, who after watching a touching moment between Coach Tim Walz and his son.
If you've never experienced the hell that is infertility, I guarantee you, you know somebody who has. And I can remember praying each night for a phone call. The pit in your stomach when the phone had rang, and the absolute agony when we heard the treatments hadn't worked. It took Gwen and I years, but we had access to fertility treatments. And when our daughter was born, we named her Hope. Hope, Gus, and Gwen, you are my entire world, and I love you. I'm letting you in on how we started a family, because this is a big part about what this election is about.
Which quite frankly moved me. I just had a son, and I'm thinking about the motivation that I feel wanting to support him and wanting to support my daughter, keeping my battery energized all throughout the week, even when I'm exhausted. And to think that one day he could be that proud of me is unbelievable. That was my reaction. But if you're Ann Coulter, you go with this. And sad as it is for our humanity, she was far from alone.
I saw it, I said, dang, his little sister down there being humble and showing fortitude, and he's up there looking like, you know, somebody done spanked him or something. Look at him, look at him. I think that Democrats are emboldening and creating weak men.
Now, it just so happens that Gus Walz is neurodivergent, has ADHD, anxiety, and a nonverbal learning disorder, things the Walz family is very upfront about, which is probably why a lot of these takes were deleted. Notice I said a lot, not necessarily all. But to me, that doesn't even matter because they've treated Ella Emhoff the exact same way. So no, I can't really give you the benefit of, oh no, I didn't know, when you still saw fit to take a shot at a child. That was the intention, whether or not he was neurodivergent or not. And to that, I just have to say, you just couldn't resist. You just couldn't resist being a terrible person. You knew exactly what you were doing, taking a shot at somebody who's sitting there just supporting his father, or in the case of Ella Emhoff, supporting her stepmother. You just can't resist being the absolute worst. Really, it's a MAGA hallmark, if we're being honest. It is a hallmark of MAGA. Now, I just wanted to break this down for you as somebody that approaches the political space from a comedic standpoint, the hierarchy of political family. You have family that are all up in the video like Diddy in the 90s. Yes, I'm talking about you, Eric Trump.
I'm telling you, the country's going to reward Donald Trump. He was the best president this country's ever had.
And Don Jr.
I get it. My guys, who I stayed in touch with, many of them just dear friends, they're like, hey, dude, there's no way you would have gotten away with that. I go, I know. Luckily, I don't snort cocaine. Like, it's not my thing. The high interest rates combating the inflation has made homeownership almost impossible for many Americans.
Now, they can get it. Punks jump up to get knocked down. They can get it 1,000%. But Barron, on the other hand, and Melania, they're kind of more or less just hangers-on. Tiffany exists somewhere in the middle. Needless to say, Ella Emhoff and Gus Walz, who you barely even know, are way on the extreme of leave them alone. I can tell you, as much smoke as I have for George W. Bush, I can't even tell you what his daughters look like. I can't tell you what they sound like. I can't tell you what they wear. And I wouldn't recognize Laura Bush if I ran into her at a Harris Teeter with a name tag on. I actually have a personal story about this because I actually went to high school right down the street from Chelsea Clinton. Yes, I have just aged myself. Leave Google alone. And I can never forget her deciding to go to a basketball game, which meant they had to be all this additional security at the game, and you had to go through metal detectors and this secret service everywhere, and people were not pleased. People were definitely not pleased for having to do that just to go to a basketball game. And you see, as nerdy as I am, and you see as nerdy as Chelsea Clinton is, you know this was not a high-level basketball game that people were attending to have to deal with all of that. Well, I remember sitting there and wondering why it is that she would subject everybody to this, and why she would subject herself to this. And I came to the conclusion because it was probably the only opportunity she ever had to go to a game, to see a high school basketball game, and to have a normal experience. Well, it actually wasn't normal, because the fans on my side of the bleachers, which went to my school, jeered her mercilessly. I mean, they gave her the business. You think about it, they said it. And yes, this is the 90s. Now, I remember the look on her face, because she couldn't react to it, because she didn't want to show that they were getting to her, so she was kind of very stoic in her face. But I'm just thinking to myself, she didn't sign up for this. You know who else didn't? Gus Walls. Well, needless to say, the streets weren't having it.
And if you come for Gus, you're going to have to see me. If you come for Gus, you're going to have to see me. I said, if you're going to come for Gus, you're going to have to see me. Because I am still reveling in this beautiful display of affection that a son has for his father, which suggests how much affection and pouring and love there is that the father has for the son. And in a time when the red pill community, me man, me right movement is so high, we will not allow you to come and tear down and denigrate what genuine love and affection looks like. You know, the actual emotions that men themselves carry as well. The emotions that we too can display as well. If you come for Gus, you're going to have to see me. Because what I want to see is more of this. I want to see more affection between the father and his son, between the father and his daughter, between a man and his brother, between the daddy and the great-grandfather. I want to see more. I want to see more men standing in their power, doing the things they need to do, improving the community, going to work, providing for the family, being a safety and a sounding board for the family, while also being vulnerable enough to know that he can't do it alone and he needs the family to support him and help him and love him and cry on him and push him up and lean on him and push him to go forward and also tell him when to sit down. All of it! I want to see all of it. All of it. So let me say this before I skedaddle. If you come for Gus, you're going to have to see me.
I feel like you could have been nastier.
I'm reporting on the very last day of the Democratic National Convention here in Chicago, Illinois, and I feel like the entire week I've been very demure, very mindful, very cutesy, but ever since I saw Ann Coulter say this about Tim Walz' son who is disabled, I'm going to say fuck that shit. It's all out of the window. Man, fuck you, Ann. Don't nobody give a fuck about a woman who died 10 years ago and is decomposing and still dyes her hair with peroxide in the motherfucking sink. What the fuck do you know about raising children, okay? Childless monkey women for Trump. That's exactly what you are, because you look like the Wicked Witch of the motherfucking West. They need to throw water on your ass and make you melt. We are tired of this shit. And as Michelle Obama said earlier this week, we're no longer going high when y'all go low. We're going to drag your bitch ass to hell where your unseasoned succubus ass belongs. Fuck you.
10. That was a perfect 10. That was a perfect 10. Matter of fact, I need to see the replay.
I'm reporting on the very last day of the Democratic National Convention here in Chicago, Illinois, and I feel like the entire week I've been very demure, very mindful, very cutesy, but ever since I saw Ann Coulter say this about Tim Walz' son who is disabled, I'm going to say fuck that shit. It's all out of the window. Man, fuck you, Ann. Don't nobody give a fuck about a woman who died 10 years ago and is decomposing and still dyes her hair with peroxide in the motherfucking sink. What the fuck do you know about raising children, okay? Childless monkey women for Trump. That's exactly what you are, because you look like the Wicked Witch of the motherfucking West. They need to throw water on your ass and make you melt. We are tired of this shit. And as Michelle Obama said earlier this week, we're no longer going high when y'all go low. We're going to drag your bitch ass to hell where your unseasoned succubus ass belongs. Fuck you.
Now, we'll give Ann Coulter some credit. She made even your garden variety MAGA troll look good by comparison. As did Crispy. As did Collins. How you gonna run the oldest candidate in the history of the presidency who has a child who's a teenager and talk about spoiled milk? Literally every allegation is a confession from MAGA. That makes you perfectly suited to be exactly where you are on the political spectrum. Really involving Officer Tatum was a real mistake here because he has no impact, absolutely, on this issue. I mean, if you can't expect somebody who has no feelings about his own to have feelings about somebody else's. But it was nice to see him clown himself in 4K. Typically, he clowns himself in SD. What's that? Ann Coulter's having a bad week? Oh, I bet she is, because I know how much she loves J.D. Vance.
I really like his choice of J.D. Vance, which I had recommended back in May. Can't trust Trump as far as I can throw him, but I do trust J.D. Vance to care about the left behind people.
To realize your personal hero can't even interact with other human beings. The zoo has come to town. Thank you for letting us come in here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I'm sorry, man. Okay, yeah. She doesn't want to be on film, guys, so just cut her out of anything. Appreciate that, man. I'm J.D. Vance. I'm running for vice president. Good to see you.
Okay.
How long are you working?
I've been here since the beginning of July.
Okay.
For this year.
Okay, good. How about you, sir?
Almost 2 years.
Okay, good. Just everything, yeah. I mean, a lot of glazed here, some sprinkle stuff, some of these cinnamon rolls, just whatever makes sense. How long has this place been around?
About 4 years.
About 4 years? Okay. How long have you been here?
A little over 6 months.
Okay, good. Which was even more weird even after Patton Oswalt confirmed he took his class on connecting with the crowd.
All right, thank you for coming. Where are you from?
Los Angeles.
Okay. Where are you from?
What?
Where are you from?
Wisconsin.
Okay. And where are you from?
You just asked me.
Oh, let's get her on camera. And
I don't want to be on camera.
Okay. How long have you lived in Wisconsin?
My whole life.
Okay. And I talked to you. Do you work here? Okay.
Just look at all this nastiness, inhumane and unhuman treatment from MAGA. Y'all used to be the party of family values. And now look at you.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, the DNC is so fucking lit. Like, that shit was super popping last night. Like, DJ Cassidy killed it. Shout out to DJ Cassidy. Shout out to Lil Jon. Like, they had Lil Jon there. This shit was fire. But I was thinking, Kamala should have a new slogan. It should be, let's manipulate Americans into thinking that everything is all good and everything is just funny and laughs and jokes and, like, just cool-ass music.
Amber Rose, I thought we'd been through this. The GOP is not going to tip you. No, they don't want to go to the back room. GOP just here to have a beer. Go sit down somewhere and wait till your song comes on. Sincere thanks to everybody who's reached out to me and submitted suggestions for videos. Keep them coming. I take submissions for ideas for a video, suggestions for Racist of the Week. If you have something that just troubles you, or you just want to send me a note, because I love getting those notes, go ahead and shoot me an email at reese@reesewaters.com. I also have a newsletter that I send out periodically, so you'll be receiving that as well. You can also sign up on my website, reesewaters.com. Hi, my name is Reese Waters, and I'm troubled. School literally just started.
Right, just to show that you
They have a suspect in custody. Who that suspect is, we don't know. Why that suspect did what they did at the school today, we don't know. We know the first shots came in the first reports of shots came in just about 2 hours ago now, and you still have what looks to be hundreds of kids out there on the school grounds, able to go home at this hour.
Yeah, this is a school of about 1,900 students, and immediately as this incident happened and just after we saw those students being sent to the football field, some were gathered in prayer circles, waiting to find out more information, as were we. And now those students at the high school have been released. They are okay to leave and go home to their parents. But all the other schools in this district are still on soft lockdown, and authorities are advising everyone to stay away from these schools if they're not coming to pick up their kids there at the high school. And our affiliate there in Atlanta is saying one of their reporters was at Grady Hospital in Atlanta and reports seeing patients being rushed into the emergency room.
As of this recording, 4 people were killed and 9 others were injured at a shooting Wednesday morning at Appalachia High School in Georgia, according to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. The suspect is alive and in custody, according to GBI. Now, U.S. News and World Report states that there are approximately 1,900 students enrolled at the school, and it's one of 2 high schools in the Barrow County Public Schools District, which is located about 40 miles northeast of Atlanta. Now, let me first extend my condolences first to those who lost their lives and to those who lost children and loved ones in this senseless tragedy.
Yeah, I've talked to her. She's a little nervous. They're on the football field waiting on the parents to come get them. She's very nervous. Did she hear the gunshot? I don't know. She didn't tell me. She just called us and said, could you hurry up and come get us? There's an active shooter here. And my first thing was to make sure she was okay. Nobody was hurt. So that's my biggest concern. When you heard there was an active shooter? Yeah, my heart started beating. I was actually on my way to go to work. And then I just dropped everything and I just got in the car and I left. The traffic was so bad at the front. I was in the middle of the red light and people were blowing, but there was nothing I could do, so.
I would also like to keep in mind those that were affected by the shooting. That includes those that were injured, but also those who saw things that will stick with them and potentially traumatize them for an extended period of time, because we are raising a generation of kids that are growing up with the anxiety and trauma that comes with being around these kinds of tragedies or the potential for these kinds of tragedies on a daily basis. Now, one thing I'm not going to do is go on a long soliloquy about gun control and when is enough, because I've done that. I just did a deep dive not too long ago on the Uvalde report. I never, ever want to hear the gun lobby talk about the good guy with the gun. You know that theory that a good guy with a gun will stop gun crime because the criminals won't feel safe? Oh, if only that victim would have had a gun, that wouldn't happen, as an excuse to further proliferate gun ownership. It's not that we have too many guns, it's that we don't have enough. There were almost 400 of them. 5 SROs, 25 officers, 16 sheriff's deputies, 149 border patrol officers, 91 state police officers, and 13 U.S. Marshals. Is that enough good guys with enough guns? And the reason I'm not going to do that is this is nothing new. We recognize the hypocrisy in our policy. All the way up through Trump asserting we don't have a gun problem from behind bulletproof glass. I also recognize that the right to bear arms was passed to soothe the concerns of disenfranchised groups who fear they might become the target of governmental aggression. As a member of a disenfranchised group that's been the target of governmental aggression, things get a little complicated. But one thing that is not complicated, our way ain't working. But that's nothing new. We're aware of the power of the NRA and other lobbying groups, but taking their money and doing their bidding has yet to be anything but profitable. It's certainly not punitive, and quite frankly, it's barely even a liability. Congressman Mike Collins represents the district that includes Appalachia High School. He's, of course, offered his thoughts and prayers. Yet here's the commercial he made when he first ran for Congress.
Hey, Mike Collins here, your pro-Trump America First trucker, running for Congress here in Georgia 10. Well, I understand Joe Biden was in town yesterday to talk about our elections. It seems that he and Kamala Harris called anyone who disagreed with the federal hijacking of this election a racist. Well, Joe, I got some news for you. Let me tell you what Georgians really believe. First of all, you count the legal votes that were cast in the state of Georgia, Donald Trump won this state, period. Number two, get rid of those voting machines. Go back to paper ballots once and for all. Number three, get rid of those ridiculous drop boxes across this state that the Democrats use to stuff the ballots and steal our elections. Number four, let's go to national forensic audits in every election cycle across this country. As a matter of fact, it's one of the first bills I'll introduce when I get to Washington. You see, Georgians are sick and tired of weak-kneed, spineless politicians who won't fight for Trump, get to the bottom of 2020, and fix our elections. Well, if they won't do it, Mike Collins will.
Now, people are passing this along now in the wake of the school shooting, but it wasn't a problem then. It got him elected. And there were many prior school shootings to be mindful of when he made that commercial. And it wasn't a problem. In fact, it got him elected. Staying in the state, Marjorie Taylor Greene posted this recently. And if you're in my age range, one of the first places that comes to mind when you hear school shootings is Colorado. They have had multiple. Yet here's Colorado Congresswoman Lauren Boebert. And with her kids for Christmas. At no point when any of these things were posted, when any of these shots were taken, when any of these videos were cut, was there concern about the gun problem in America. They did it because they knew that it wasn't going to be a liability. And there's no reason to think that Mike Collins' ad would be a liability for an extended period of time. It looks bad today, but look at our history. We have said loudly and clearly that this is something that we are okay with. We even have people stumping for the Second Amendment who don't even know what it is.
This is a Trump rally. If you don't like it, don't come here to protest. Don't come if you're uneducated and you don't know what you're talking about.
You would rather they just didn't come here?
I would rather them not come here.
Are you a fan of the First Amendment?
Absolutely. You know, the right to bear arms. Look, this is...
That's not the First Amendment.
No, the Fourth Amendment, but I'm saying...
That's not the Fourth Amendment either.
Which one is it?
Which one do you want to know? The right to free speech, the First Amendment?
First Amendment, freedom of speech.
And you love the right to bear arms. Which amendment do you think that is?
I thought it was the Fourth. I could be...
It's the Second Amendment. Yeah.
Okay, well...
How big of a fan of it are you?
Of...
The Second Amendment.
I carry. That's what I know.
And you didn't know which amendment it was?
No, I didn't.
So I'm not going to go on a long diatribe about guns in America because the problem runs deeper than that.
But are you open to any compromise gun control legislation that's being discussed in Washington? So-called red flag laws, expanded background checks.
I am absolutely opposed to red flag laws. I am 100% adamant that the Second Amendment is written right. There is no changing it. We do have problems. We don't have a gun control problem in this country. We don't have a gun problem in this problem. What we have is a cultural problem where we have removed God from every facet of our life, be it from the schools, from prayer, even television. That's where we've got to get back to where the sanctity of life means something.
I actually agree with Mike Collins. I agree with him. We do have a God problem. Because I don't know any God that would support the pursuit of money over the safety and well-being of your fellow citizens. And not just any fellow citizens, but those that you were entrusted to protect. So absolutely, we have a God problem. You want to tell me that God is pro-life? Okay, well, that pro-life God would, of course, be pro-healthcare for pregnant women and programs for single mothers and making sure kids have school lunches and eradicating food deserts. How about educational and opportunity inequality? Where are you with taking care of the sick, or as you call it, pre-existing conditions? Because God is pro-life, right? See, God had empathy, right? God had empathy, and that's something that is long gone from our society. I have been very fortunate enough to never lose a loved one in a school shooting. However, on my route up to ESPN several years ago, I was living in New Jersey, and every time I would take that trip up to Bristol, I would pass very early in my trip a sign that said Newtown, as in Newtown, Connecticut, as in Sandy Hook. 100% of the time, when I saw that sign that said Newtown, I thought of Sandy Hook. That was enough to make it real for me. That was it. Just a sign was enough to make it real for me. Somehow, we have people that are able to sit by and watch this happen in their own communities, and that's not enough to make it real for them. Still, this is something that we have said as a nation that we are okay with. There isn't a single aspect of our society that is untouched by our absence of empathy. The same people that will march in droves in support of the Second Amendment to make sure that they're protected in the case of government overreach will be the same people that no matter what, when they see a black or brown person who loses their lives at the hands of the police, will say they should have complied without even a hint of irony or shame. Because in today's world, as long as it's not me, trumps what if it could have been me. And there is nothing more godless than that. And that is why I'm troubled. Sincere thanks to everybody who's reached out to me and submitted suggestions for videos. Keep them coming. I take submissions for ideas for a video, suggestions for Racist of the Week. If you have something that just troubles you, or you just want to send me a note, because I love getting those notes, go ahead and shoot me an email at reese@reesewaters.com. I also have a newsletter that I send out periodically, so you'll be receiving that as well. You can also sign up on my website, reesewaters.com. Welcome to Street Politics. My name is Reese Waters. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the page. Now, I have told y'all about Senator Raphael Warnock before.
Well, a Florida man called into Georgia and said, I need 11,870 votes.
And I, for one, am grateful, because so often when I am at a loss for words, he always comes through with exactly what needed to be said.
It's white supremacy in blackface.
I can think of a couple examples.
Saying that this is not a black day. This is not a black day. This is a youth day. This is a youth day, Eric Adams. This is not a black day. Your policies are anti-black. You are people are with us. And this is not a black day. This is a justice day.
First of all, I want to thank you for being here this morning.
It's white supremacy in blackface.
How about another one?
As speculated, we were able to confirm that Kamala's black grandmother that she showed us in that picture died in 1960, before Kamala was born. I can show you right now her death certificate.
It's white supremacy in blackface.
How about another one?
Forget all of things that she said. People, go back and watch her body language. When she talked about her niece, she's looking at Dana Bash. She's smiling. She looks relaxed. But when you ask her about her policies and the flip-flopping, she's looking down. She's looking small. She doesn't look like she has confidence in what she's saying because she doesn't believe it.
It's white supremacy in blackface.
Ooh, I got one more.
A few moments later. A few moments later. A few moments later.
It's white supremacy in blackface.
Now, all of those need to be addressed, but one is going to be addressed right now. Janet Jackson, what was you thinking? Huh? I just need to know. I just need to know, what was you thinking? Like, I'm not even saying that you have to be on the blue side of the wall. What I am saying is, what made you think that you could speak out about something as consequential as our presidential election with information that you didn't even use technology for? Like, you didn't use no electronics. It's no way it's no way a computer or a phone or an iPad was used in you attaining that information. It's just no way. Because if there's any way it was, you would have known immediately.
Mm-hmm. For her to just be drifting through the world and not have any sort of idea of what's happening with this situation, but then offer an opinion that is completely uneducated,
right,
and completely wrong, and say that she hasn't watched the news in a couple of days, as if Kamala Harris could be black on Monday, or white on Monday, or Indian on Monday, and then black on Thursday or Friday.
Now, I'm not going to do you the way the internet did you. Although that was hilarious. I'll be honest, that was hilarious. One thing that we can say for sure is the definition of black has been sufficiently stretched within your kin. But why that would make you think that wouldn't also include Jamaicans makes the least amount of sense. Then you go and apologize for going with information you heard from the dude that was pumping gas when your tour bus was low outside of Omaha. You gonna go ahead and apologize for that, but then you fire the person who actually tried to clean it up for you. So let me get this straight. It's your team's fault that you don't have better sense not to go publicly with information about a presidential candidate that you heard from a dude with a filthy nameplate. Like, is that really what happened?
It's white supremacy in blackface.
I ain't been this mad at her since Poetic Justice. I mean, really, because we didn't get a whole lot of Tupac performances. And she just completely ruined what could have been his tour de force. But I also want to make this clear. The idea that you hold somebody else responsible for information that you felt confident in going with publicly, challenging someone's blackness. Hey, Senator Warnock.
It's white supremacy in blackface.
if I have ever heard it. Now, you probably do want to get the context of that whole comment, and you'll enjoy it.
I'm very concerned, Jen. All of us should remember that famous phone call, a man from Florida calling into Georgia saying he needed 11,780 votes. He didn't get it. And apparently these members of the State Board of Elections, whom he called pit bulls, who are out there doing his bidding, are trying to create a scenario in which they can declare by fiat who the winner of Georgia is. Listen, I've seen this up close. You know, I've won in Georgia 2 elections. My name's been on the ballot 5 times in less than 3 years. They saw the anatomy of my win during my first election, how we won in the runoff. And so going into the runoff this last time, I had to sue the state officials of Georgia just so that Georgia voters could vote that first weekend of the runoff. This is how voter suppression happens.
Listen to what this man just said. He, in trying to run for office, had to distract himself from connecting with voters, hearing what it is in fact they want, and sue in order to make sure that people could vote for him when they started heading to the polls. Tell me, what part of will of the people is that?
Undermine votes a little bit here, a little bit there. The news that Georgia voters ought to be paying attention to is this. The fact that they are doing this means that they know we're winning. They know that the momentum is with Kamala Harris, and this effort to turn the democracy on its head so that rather than the voters picking their representatives, the folks who are running it to pick their voters, it won't stand. We're going to be vigilant in court, and we're going to turn our people out.
Preach! Preach! The man just said, as opposed to voters picking their representative, you have certain representatives picking their voters. That is a bar. Also, him asserting that the reason why these efforts are intensifying is because they scared. Oh yeah, they big scared. Cause I ain't never complained about the refs after a game we won. Or winning for that matter. I'm blowing somebody else. I don't care what they call. Unless it's that Ravens-Cowboys game. They tried to take that away. I saw it. Don't you steal our joy laughing at Cowboys fans.
There are a couple of Republicans in the state of Georgia who have expressed concern about what could happen here. A lawyer for Brad Raffensperger, the state attorney general. Now, you know best if those are just words or if they'd actually take actions. If they wanted to prevent this from happening, what could they do?
Well, I think we need to see more action from the state officials here. And yes, I'm paying attention because, again, I've been through this history. But the fact that you have county officials, both Democrats and Republicans, saying that this is a mess, saying that we can't do what you're asking us to do, saying that this insisting on counting votes by hand is not only going to delay our ability to certify, but it certainly, the data shows it doesn't increase accuracy, it decreases accuracy.
Now that is an interesting thought. The idea that hand counting, especially hand counting in the hands of people that have proven themselves to be nakedly partisan, would actually be less accurate than, the computers and electronics that we have spent decades developing because of the limitations of human beings. What a novel concept! Also for you, Janet Jackson, that's a novel concept, especially for you. You should use electronics.
Look, I'm old enough to remember Florida in 2000. And we all saw the mess that was, and we don't need that here again in Georgia. So we will continue to press the issue. But I want to be clear for the folks who are watching me this morning. The whole purpose of voter suppression really is to so demoralize the electorate or parts of the electorate that you don't even bother. And for those who are watching and are wondering, well, what can I do about this? I'll tell you what you can do. You can show up. You can show up and say you're not going to squeeze my voice out of the democracy, that I have a right to cast my vote and for my vote to be counted. and showing up in massive numbers, that's the way you respond.
And Senator Warnock is actually echoing something that Kamala mentioned in her comments in the DNC. We knew this kind of stuff was coming because we know that they were going to get worried. We know we had a movement, and we know they're prone to scurred. So we know they're going to try whatever it is that they could possibly grasp for in order to hold on to power. We need to soldier on.
I want to ask you about something else that may sound familiar to you, which is Trump aligning himself with a person who should have been disqualified from running for office. And that is, you know who I'm going to ask you about, Mark Robinson, the Republican nominee for governor in North Carolina.
Just look at the look. Just look at the look on Warnock's face. Just look at the look of what he looked like. He's scolding somebody in the back of the church. Just forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they do.
Republican nominee for governor in North Carolina, and especially the ways, given your background and your history and your current role as a religious leader, in which Dr. Martin Luther King's name has come up in this whole scandal. I mean, in addition to everything else, CNN found that Robinson made a series of posts denigrating Dr. King, calling him a commie bastard, calling him an offensive slur. As you well know, Donald Trump once referred to Robinson as Martin Luther King on steroids. You will actually stand today at the same pulpit where Martin Luther King preached. You have a long history in the state of Georgia. I just want to know what you make of all of this and how they're talking about his legacy.
Now, just imagine you are Raphael Warnock. You have spent your life in the church. You spent your life in the community, and you are blessed to be given the pulpit that was once graced by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And you have to hear a man who was president put that moniker on Mark Robinson. Oh, I'm sorry, Mini Soldier. You have to hear him call Mini Soldier Martin Luther King on steroids or Martin Luther King ×2. Like, I react to the absurdity of it, but if that has been your life's work to ascend to that position, I think we got to throw hands. Or at the very least, I'm taking your water tower and your compression V-neck. You gonna come up off of both of those.
I can tell you as the pastor of Ebenezer Baptist Church, where Martin Luther King Jr. served, that Mark Robinson is no Martin Luther King Jr. He is the antithesis of everything that Dr. King represented. He is white supremacy in blackface.
Now let's break this down. Is he opposed to us attaining equal rights? Does he have a problem with the civil rights movement? Check. Has he advocated for a return to slavery? Check. You know what? Let's go ahead and add in, is he opposed to anything that brings black people joy, be it Beyonce or Black Panther? Check and check. Well, you know what? White supremacy also comes with a little misogyny as well. Is he anti-women? Check. And they certainly aren't down with the gays. Check. Does he call himself a black Nazi? Check. You can't be any more white supremacist than calling yourself a black Nazi.
As he talks about his desire to bring slavery back. I mean, this talk is way beyond the pale. And I think that the people of North Carolina need to take note of the fact that this is Donald Trump's candidate. This is who he keeps pushing and encouraging. This is who he thinks should represent them.
And keep in mind, it's still Donald Trump's candidate. He has refused to disavow Mark Robinson. Oh, I'm gonna go down with this ship.
But Donald Trump has a long history of this. He tried this in my race. Mm-hmm. This is not the first time he has put forward a black candidate who is unfit and unqualified to serve, with the cynical notion that somehow the electorate will be confused.
Do y'all want a reminder? Huh? Let me go ahead and give y'all a reminder.
You can support police officers, as I've done, through the COPS program, through the Invest to Protect program, while at the same time holding police officers, like all professions, accountable. One thing I have not done, I've never pretended to be a police officer, and I've never threatened a shootout with the police.
Well, and now I have to respond to that.
We are moving on,
I
gentlemen.
have to respond to that. And you know what's so funny? I am with many police officers, and at the same time,
Mr. Walker, Mr. Walker, Mr. Walker, excuse me, Mr. Walker.
When
please,
he said a problem
out of
with the
respect,
truth is
I need
his.
to let you know, Mr.
Yes.
Walker, you are very well
Yes.
aware of the ruse tonight.
Yes.
And you have a prop.
Brother, what's that? What's that, brother?
I am with many police officers. I am with many police officers. I am with many police officers.
What do you mean by that? That somehow the electorate will be confused about who this person represents. The people of North Carolina deserve better. They've got real issues that they're trying to address, and they're going to see through Mark Robinson just in the same way that the people of Georgia saw through my opponent.
Now let's go ahead and break this down. Raphael Warnock is pointing out the fact that it is very common and routine for them to put forth black candidates that are unqualified because they mistakenly think that the electorate won't be able to tell the difference. Tell me how you really feel about black people that they wouldn't be able to tell the difference between Raphael Warnock and Herschel Walker.
We in America have some of the cleanest air and cleanest water of anybody in the world. So what we do is we're going to put from the Green New Deal millions or billions of dollars cleaning our good air up. So all of a sudden China and India ain't putting nothing in there cleaning that situation up. So all that bad air is still there. But since we don't control the air, our good air decided to float over to China, bad air. So when China gets our good air, their bad air gotta move. So it moves over to our good air space. And now we gotta clean that back up.
It also explains his obsession with Kamala Harris's race. Because if you are of the opinion that, they can't really tell the difference who's who, it doesn't matter, they'll just vote for her because she's black, then obviously, as opposed to attacking her based on, policy, you attack her based on her race. Because in your mind, that is the only thing you could possibly do to try and siphon away some of those black votes.
Donald Trump said that if he loses in November, the Jewish people, these are his words, to your point, the Jewish people would have a lot to do with the loss. To me, it sounds like he's setting up Jewish Americans to be scapegoats. It's incredibly divisive. You're a religious leader. What was your reaction to that? And what do you want people out there to know when they hear divisive comments like that?
Well, it's an old anti-Semitic trope that he was using, ironically, at an event supposedly to address the problem of anti-Semitism. It just shows you the ways in which Donald Trump is out of touch. And I met with Jewish leaders, a group of Jewish leaders, this past Friday, and they were just shaking their heads because this is an old ploy, an old trope of accusing Jewish folk that somehow they're behind the scenes, pulling strings, doing things. This is who Donald Trump is. He's got so much bigotry, so much anti-Semitism, so much racism, so much misogyny in his heart that it comes out. Forgive me, I'm on my way to church. Jesus said that, what's in you will come out.
That makes a whole lot of sense. It just comes out. You wonder, why would he say that? How could he say it? Just comes out. It just comes out his pores. He just gets flustered, and just the racism just be popping out. You know what I mean? It's got nowhere else to go.
And here we're watching his words demonstrate time and time again who he is. We know who Donald Trump is. This election is about who we are as an American people. And I still believe in the American promise, e pluribus unum, out of many one. I still believe that God is known by many names, worshipped in many houses. I believe in this democracy, this experiment where people of various faith traditions and people who claim no faith at all but operate from a place of moral courage and basic dignity and decency can build a greater country, a beloved community, as Dr. King called it, and push us closer towards our ideals. We're not going back. And we're going to send this 78-year-old retired president quietly into the night and move forward into the future.
Preach, Pastor, preach! I'm staying for the late service. Anybody want to go to IHOP? I got some time in between. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I especially want to thank those of you that have been emailing me at reese@reesewaters.com. I do look at it, and I wanted to say I've taken a number of suggestions. Just in the past week, I think half the videos were suggested from emails that I received from you guys, so keep them coming. And just because I may not be able to respond doesn't mean that I don't see it, and it doesn't mean that it's not impactful, because the email and the feedback that I get from you guys shapes my perception of the people that are consuming my content. So it really does impact the direction that we take moving forward. So just because I may not respond to your email doesn't mean I don't appreciate it. So thank you guys very much. Of course, we have the website, reesewaters.com. There's some new merch on the website as well, so be on the lookout for that. And by the way, if you get some merch, if you get a shirt or hat or whatever the case may be, send me a photo of yourself with it. Maybe put in the title merch pick or something like. I could think of a way better subject title. Those of you that have signed up for my newsletter, use the portal on my website. I appreciate you guys for doing that. There'll be a new newsletter that is going out shortly, and in it will be updates on channel membership. That's right, something that you guys have been mentioning to me for a long time. We're finally on the precipice of it, so you can get all the details and the membership. Again, you can sign up on my website or send me an email at reese@reesewaters.com. There is so much on the horizon, and I, for one, am extremely grateful that you're along with me on this ride.